Somewhere behind the curtains of silence, unseen eyes are watching. You feel it, don't you? The air has shifted. Something invisible has broken loose, not with noise, not with confrontation, but with one quiet, courageous act. You walked away. You turned your back on control. You stepped out of the system of fear that once held you captive. And now, the world, once certain in its illusion of stability, is beginning to tremble because of you. You weren't supposed to find peace outside their boundaries, but you did. And your courage became more than an escape. It became a signal, a spark of hope in hearts that had long forgotten they were allowed to dream of freedom. If this message spoke to something deep inside you, we just want to say, thank you. Thank you for showing up, for listening, and for being part of this awakening. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join a growing community of souls choosing truth over fear. And we'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and share your thoughts, your story, or even just a word that resonates with you. Your voice matters. Your freedom is just the beginning, and we're honored to walk beside you on this journey. They built it so carefully, a world that looked orderly, harmonious, and unshakably firm. From the outside, everything seemed in place. Silence passed as peace, and obedience masqueraded as unity. But beneath the polished exterior lay the true foundation of their empire: fear. It wasn't admiration that upheld their power, nor was it wisdom or fairness. It was control, cunningly crafted and methodically enforced. They ruled not with love, but with leverage, not through inspiration, but through intimidation. Every decision was guided by one goal: to keep others small, compliant, and afraid to question. Those who followed didn't do so out of loyalty, but out of dread. Dread of punishment, of what might happen if they ever dared to step out of line. It was about domination dressed in the garments of leadership. The puppet master, the self-appointed authority, didn't need to prove their value. They demanded submission. They instilled the belief that survival required obedience, and that questioning them would only lead to chaos. The more their followers feared losing favor, the more tightly they clung to the illusion that this was the only way life could work. It was a system held together not by truth, but by illusion. A house of cards balanced on manipulated minds and manufactured consequences. Yet illusions are only powerful as long as no one challenges them. Their power thrived in darkness, in silence, in blind compliance. The moment someone saw beyond the veil, the moment you did, the architecture they spent years constructing began to tremble. Because in a world built on fear, the greatest threat is not rebellion, it is awareness. And awareness, once awakened, cannot be undone. You stepped out of the system they told you was unbreakable. And then, the unthinkable happened. Nothing. No collapse. No divine punishment. No unraveling of your life. The sky didn't fall. The silence that followed was louder than any warning they had ever given. And that silence stirred something deep in the hearts of those still inside. People began to notice. They watched, waiting for your downfall, clinging to the belief that disobedience brought disaster. But as days passed and you not only survived, you flourished, the cracks in their certainty began to form. Doubt crept in, slowly, softly, like dawn breaking through a tightly drawn curtain. If they left and are still standing, what else have we believed that isn't true? It began in whispers, hushed conversations, sideways glances, brief moments of hesitation before following orders. But even a whisper, if true, is louder than 1,000 lies. The impossible had happened before their eyes. Someone escaped the web and lived to tell the tale. And if you could leave, perhaps they could too. That thought, fragile but relentless, lit a fire. You didn't mean to be a spark. You were just being true to yourself. But that spark found dry ground, and what once was held together by fear now flickered with questions, with curiosity, with quiet courage. All because one person, you, chose freedom over fear. At first, they told themselves it was a fluke, a small act of defiance that would soon fade away, but it didn't. Your absence, quiet yet undeniable, began to echo through the halls of their carefully constructed illusion. What they built was never real authority. It was a performance, upheld by fear, and maintained only so long as no one dared to question it. But you did, not with confrontation, not with outrage, simply by choosing to live outside their control. That choice alone was enough to expose the truth. They were never as powerful as they appeared. Without your submission, their words lost weight. Their commands began to fall flat. One by one, others noticed. Not just that you had left, but that you were free. Their threats, once terrifying, now rang hollow. And when no punishment came for you, the spell began to break. What was once unshakable now seemed fragile. The obedient began to hesitate. Those who had enforced the rules began to second-guess. Loyalty, once blind, became laced with unease. You hadn't raised a rebellion. You had revealed reality. And reality was this: the control they held was never about strength, but about secrecy. It could only survive in the dark, in silence, in fear. But now the lights had been turned on. The illusion was crumbling, not because you attacked it, but because you no longer needed it. That was the truth they couldn't bear. That someone could live, breathe, and thrive beyond their grasp. And worse, others were beginning to believe they could too. The collapse had begun, not with chaos, but with clarity. You had done the one thing their entire system couldn't withstand. You disproved it, simply by walking away. Panic never announces itself with grace. It scrambles, it claws, it disguises itself in desperate attempts to appear composed. And now, stripped of the illusion of control, that's exactly what they're doing. The puppet master, once towering in perceived authority, is unraveling behind the scenes. With each day that you remain free, they lose ground. They cannot bear the thought that someone escaped, not because they care for you, but because your freedom is a threat to the illusion they've so desperately curated. So they scramble. They try everything. Guilt-laced words wrapped in concern, whispers of, "You've changed," subtle insinuations that you're lost. They craft crises from nothing, sowing confusion and conflict where there is none, hoping to draw attention away from their own crumbling influence. If they can't control you directly, they'll try to control how others see you. All of it, the rumors, the faux compassion, the staged concern, is nothing more than an elaborate performance designed to do one thing: bring you back into the fold. Because if they can bring you back even briefly, they can point and say, "See? No one really leaves." That illusion, the myth of inevitable return, is the last thread holding their narrative together. They need you to return, not out of love or reconciliation, but to restore the lie that you've already shattered. And when guilt doesn't work, they'll escalate. They'll send others, masked as friends, pretending to understand, only to gather information, to find your weakness, to spin your words against you. But what they don't understand is that once you've tasted truth, no amount of manipulation can bind you again. The game they're playing is already lost. They just haven't accepted it yet. All you did was choose truth, and somehow, that was enough to spark a quiet revolution. Without ever intending to lead, you became a guidepost. Without seeking influence, you became influential. Because in a world obsessed with control, freedom is magnetic. Others look at you now, not because you demanded it, but because they see something they've been longing for, a life unchained. You walk with clarity, and you move forward, unburdened by the weight of approval or fear. That kind of peace is rare and powerful. It calls to something deep inside others, something that's been silenced for too long. They study your steps not because you ask them to, but because your life whispers a different way, a better way, And as they watch, many begin to realize that their chains were never locked, only imagined. That's what unsettles the puppet master the most. You're not campaigning against them. You're not trying to overthrow anyone. Yet your very existence outside of their control exposes the fragility of their reign. It reveals that obedience wasn't loyalty. It was fear. And now, fear is losing its grip. Your influence grows not by force, but by freedom. Not by shouting louder, but by standing still. That's the paradox they cannot understand. That someone with no need to dominate can hold more sway than those who rule with iron fists. You are not powerful because you sought power. There was a time when their presence struck fear. When a single word, a glance, a command could make hearts race and minds fall silent. They were untouchable, or so it seemed. Cloaked in authority, they commanded not through respect but through intimidation. Their name was spoken in hushed tones, their approval was coveted like oxygen, and their wrath avoided like fire. But now, something has shifted. Where once there was fear, there is something far more damning. Pity. People no longer tremble when they speak. They tilt their heads with quiet disbelief. The same voice that used to silence entire rooms now sounds desperate, even hollow. Their actions, once seen as calculated and commanding, are now transparent attempts to hold together a crumbling empire. The power they clung to for so long is fading, and they know it. But what truly terrifies them is not the loss of influence, it's the indifference. People no longer care. The obsession, the reverence, the fearful loyalty they once inspired is dissolving into silence. And silence is far more dangerous than defiance, because it means they no longer matter. They yell louder, stir up drama, demand attention, but the crowd that once hung on every word is drifting away. Even their most loyal followers are beginning to look elsewhere for guidance, many turning their gaze to you. And that, above all else, is what haunts them. That the same people who once defended them without question now see them for what they truly are. Not powerful, but pitiful. Their fearsome image is fading, replaced with the image of someone grasping at shadows, terrified of being forgotten. And the irony is unmistakable. The one who once held everyone captive in fear now finds themselves trapped in irrelevance. Something irreversible is happening, and no matter how tightly they cling to their fading throne, the tide will not turn back. It began slowly, just murmurs, glances, a flicker of hesitation in those who once followed blindly. But now, the whisper has become a conversation, and that conversation is turning into action. People who were once enforcers of the system are beginning to question everything. They are comparing notes, reflecting on their experiences, and realizing the cracks were always there. They were simply trained not to see them. What held them captive for so long wasn't truth, but fear, expertly woven into every command. But fear is a poor foundation, and once it's gone, the entire structure begins to wobble. Now, those who once silenced others in defense of the puppet master are speaking out, asking questions, and facing the truth they once avoided. They are awakening, not because someone ordered them to, but because your courage showed them it was possible. Your simple act of leaving was a seed planted in dry ground, and now it's blossoming into collective clarity. The system they relied on to keep everyone small is failing, and they know it. Every person who steps away adds to the unraveling. The fear that once united them is turning into a shared sense of betrayal, not just by the one who ruled them, but by the very lies they were fed. They are realizing they were never truly protected, only controlled. And the more they see, the less they believe. This shift cannot be undone because it is no longer just about you. It's about them reclaiming their minds, their voices, their lives. The spell has broken, the truth is out, and there's no going back. They never truly saw you, not as a person, not as a soul with depth, dreams, and purpose. To them, you were a role, a utility, a piece of their machine designed to obey, to conform, to serve their agenda. They never loved you. They used you. You were valuable only so long as you were useful to their system. And the moment you stepped out of line, questioned the script, or dared to imagine something greater, they rewrote your story for you. Not as a seeker of truth, but as a traitor. They whispered that you were unstable, rebellious, lost. But that was never the truth. The truth is, they were terrified of what your freedom represented. Because when you walked away, you weren't just breaking their rules. You were breaking the illusion that no one ever leaves. And in doing so, you shattered the lie they depended on. That control was permanent. That obedience was natural. That their grip was unbreakable. They don't miss you. They miss having power over you. What they grieve isn't your absence. It's the loss of the image they crafted of themselves. As untouchable, central, absolute. Your departure didn't just remove you from their system. It revealed that their system was never real to begin with. Now, they are scrambling not to win you back out of care, but to reclaim the narrative. Because if you can leave and thrive, it proves they were wrong all along. You are not who they said you were. You are not a failure. You are not lost. You are free. And finally, you're becoming exactly who you were always meant to be. They crafted the narrative carefully, that anyone who left would suffer. That separation meant isolation, that stepping away would surely end in regret. You were supposed to fall apart without them. That was the story they repeated over and over, not just to you, but to everyone watching. And so, when you walked away, they waited. Waited for your collapse. Waited for the moment they could say, "See? No one survives outside." But that moment never came. Instead, something they never anticipated began to unfold. You flourished. You found peace they couldn't fake. You discovered strength they never taught. You grew in silence, rebuilt in stillness, and began to shine in a way they never allowed. And the people who once believed in your inevitable failure started to take notice. Their fear-based faith began to tremble, because what they saw wasn't someone broken or lost. It was someone alive, someone radiant, someone becoming whole. And suddenly, all the warnings they had been fed seemed hollow. If you could thrive in the freedom they were taught to fear, maybe the fear itself had been the lie. That truth, your success, your peace, your joy, became the loudest contradiction to their doctrine of control. You didn't argue. You didn't return to confront them. You simply lived, and your life became the evidence. That was the blow they couldn't recover from, because nothing disarms a system built on fear faster than someone who escapes it and blooms. You were never supposed to make it without them, but you did. And now they can't deny what everyone else sees clearly. You are not only free, you are thriving, and your freedom speaks louder than anything they ever threatened. You were never chosen by them, and that is the most liberating truth of all. Their version of being chosen was never about calling, it was about control. It meant staying small, obedient, silent, useful. But your true calling didn't come with chains, it came with clarity. You weren't chosen to serve their ego. You were chosen to step into something far more sacred. Truth. Something deep within you stirred long before you had the words to describe it. A quiet knowing that there was more. And when that inner voice grew too loud to ignore, you followed it, even when it meant walking alone. That step, uncertain, bold, terrifying, wasn't rebellion. It was alignment. It was purpose rising to the surface. You didn't stumble into freedom by accident. You were led, hand in hand with grace, out of the shadows and into the light of who you were always meant to be. This calling doesn't shout. It whispers. It doesn't bind. It releases. And it doesn't elevate one person over another. It simply reminds you of who you are, beneath the lies, beneath the fear. The freedom you walk in now is not an escape. It's a return to your spirit, a return to your worth, a return to divine purpose. And no one, not them, not their system, not their stories, can take that away. Because this was never about their approval. It was about your awakening. You were not chosen by a manipulator looking for loyalty. You were chosen by truth itself, to live, to rise, and to reflect the light that was buried beneath years of suppression. You are not just free, you are called. This isn't the end of your story, it's the spark that marks a whole new beginning. You didn't just walk away from control, you stepped into purpose. You've shown that it's possible to rise from the ashes of manipulation, to shake off the weight of fear, and to live fully, freely, and faithfully aligned with who you truly are. The path ahead may still have questions, may still hold trials, but now you walk it with clarity, with strength. And know this, every step you take in freedom inspires someone else to believe they can walk too. Thank you for being here, for listening with your heart, and for allowing these words to speak to something sacred within you. If this message resonated with you, if you found light, strength, or even a quiet moment of clarity, we invite you to join us on this journey of truth, healing, and hope. Beloved, listen with your heart, as this message is not just for you. It is about you. You are not like the others. You were never meant to blend into the crowd or follow the path others set for you. You are something different, something magnificent. You are an earth angel, a radiant beacon of divine light, sent into this world to walk among shadows and transform them with your mere presence. In every moment of your life, you have stood as a testament to the fact that you carry within you a power that others cannot fathom. But there is something most profound you must understand. Something that is about to unfold before your very eyes. A force so dark, so twisted in nature, has fallen in love with you. Not because you are like them, but because you represent everything they can never be. You, Earth Angel, embody the unshakable essence of truth, light, and love. You stand tall, unyielding, when others crumble. Your presence alone unnerves the very foundation of darkness. And now this force, this master of deception, fear, and chaos, finds itself ensnared in its own traps, unable to break free. It has tried to manipulate, to deceive, to control, and yet you remain untouched, a shining light, standing firm in your truth. But what happens next? How do you respond to such a profound confrontation? You, chosen one, have been placed here for a reason, and your journey holds the key to a deeper understanding of power, love, and transformation. The chosen one stands as an unshakable force, a beacon of light in a world shrouded by darkness. From the moment you were born, you were never meant to follow the crowd, to fit into the molds of others. You were destined for something far greater, to walk a path that only the boldest souls dare to tread. Your light is undeniable, and it cannot be dimmed by the shadows that seek to consume it. While others cower in fear, you stand firm, unyielding, and fearless, radiating a strength that unsettles even the deepest forces of darkness. The devil, who has spent centuries weaving deception, manipulation, and chaos, has encountered many who have fallen before its tricks. Great kings, wise philosophers, and even the righteous have succumbed to its snares. Yet when it faced you, it found something entirely different. The traps it set, the temptations it offered, and the fears it instilled, all failed to break you. In fact, they only revealed your true power. You, the chosen one, do not engage in the games of the devil. You do not play by its rules, nor do you bend to its will. While others are swayed by illusion, you see through the falsehoods, recognizing them for what they truly are, mere distractions meant to steal your peace and light. The devil, used to manipulating the minds of the mighty, finds itself powerless in your presence. It cannot use the same tactics on you that it has used for centuries to bring empires to their knees. You are not broken by its lies. You do not fall for its deceptions. Instead, you remain steadfast in your truth, unwavering in your faith, and this is what terrifies the devil. For the first time, it faces something it cannot control, a force of nature that stands beyond its reach. Your power does not lie in physical strength or in the ability to defeat the devil through violence. No, your power lies in your unwavering authenticity. The light you carry is not of this world, and it cannot be extinguished by the darkness that surrounds it. You stand firm, not because you are defiant, but because you are grounded in your truth. The devil has never encountered anyone like you before, someone whose presence alone shatters its illusions and exposes its weaknesses. It is in your stillness, in your ability to remain true to yourself, that the devil is forced to confront the very lies it has lived by. You do not need to fight. You do not need to engage in a battle of wills. You simply are, and that is enough. Your light has a profound effect on the world around you. It disrupts the devil's carefully constructed web, exposing the vulnerabilities it has spent lifetimes hiding. The devil thought it could break you, but in reality, it has become ensnared by its own deception. And now, it is you who holds the power. The more you stand in your truth, the more the darkness around you begins to dissolve, and the devil finds itself unraveling. You are the embodiment of divine strength, and this is what makes you unstoppable. The transformation begins when the devil, accustomed to controlling and manipulating, faces something it has never encountered before: your unwavering light and truth. For centuries, the devil has weaved a tapestry of deception, carefully crafting illusions to keep the world in darkness. It has watched kingdoms fall, witnessed the wise crumble under pressure, and seen the righteous stray from their paths, all due to its clever manipulations. The devil thrives on chaos and fear, using these as tools to dominate and subjugate, never expecting to encounter someone who sees through its carefully constructed facade. But when it comes to you, the chosen one, everything changes. You do not bend to the devil's will, nor do you fall into the traps set by its false promises. While the devil has spent lifetimes perfecting the art of temptation, it is powerless against your clarity and truth. The illusions it has long used to control others crumble in your presence, and for the first time, it finds itself exposed. No longer able to hide behind deceit, the devil is forced to confront the reality it has spent so long avoiding. The light you carry is not just a force that guides you. It is a force that shines on the darkness around you, unraveling everything the devil once believed to be true. As the devil stands before you, it experiences something it has never known: vulnerability. It has always been the predator, the one in control, but now it is ensnared by its own web of lies. Your unwavering presence has disrupted its power, revealing the cracks in its carefully built armor. What was once a master of manipulation is now forced to question itself. The devil, for the first time, sees that it cannot manipulate you. It cannot twist your truth. Your light exposes its deepest fears, its darkest wounds, and it is in this moment that the devil begins to unravel. The power it thought it had is revealed to be an illusion, and it stands before you, no longer the force it once was. This unraveling is not immediate, nor is it easy. The devil has existed for eons, thriving in its deception, and now it must confront the very things it has long denied. But even in the face of its own unraveling, the devil finds itself strangely drawn to you. It cannot escape the truth you radiate. It begins to realize that its power was never as absolute as it believed. Your light is not something that can be extinguished. It simply reveals what was hidden. It exposes the cracks in the devil's foundation and forces it to see what it has long avoided: the truth of its own emptiness. In this moment of confrontation, the devil stands at a crossroads. It is faced with a choice: continue down the path of destruction, or embrace the painful yet liberating journey of transformation. The light you shine is not just a force that exposes its weakness. It is a force that offers the devil an opportunity for change. It can no longer rely on manipulation to get what it wants. Instead, it must decide whether to continue in its ways or step into the light of truth that you have shown. The devil's unraveling is not the conclusion of the story, but rather a pivotal moment, a moment of opportunity for transformation, if it is willing to embrace it. The revelation unfolds when the devil, the master of deception, is confronted with a force it has never been able to control: your unwavering presence. For centuries, the devil has thrived on creating illusions, bending reality to its will, and making darkness appear as light. It has whispered into the ears of kings, manipulated the hearts of rulers, and twisted the minds of the righteous. The devil has long been a puppet master, pulling strings from the shadows, convincing the world that its version of truth is the only truth. But when it faces you, all of that begins to shatter. You are not swayed by the devil's whispers, nor are you drawn into the webs it weaves. Your clarity exposes every illusion for what it is: empty, hollow, and false. The devil, used to being the one who creates deception, is now the one whose lies are exposed. The illusions that once kept the world in darkness crumble in your light. The masks the devil wears, designed to manipulate and control, no longer hide its true nature. You see through the facade, recognizing the darkness for what it truly is: a hollow attempt to overshadow the light that resides in you. This breaking of illusions is not just about exposing lies, it is about revealing the truth that has always been hidden behind layers of deception. The devil thrives on the belief that it controls the world, that it can manipulate anyone and everyone to do its bidding. But in your presence, it can no longer hide behind its illusions. The truth you carry is too powerful for its deceitful tactics to succeed. And in that truth, the devil is forced to face the reality it has long avoided. It is not the ultimate force in the universe. The revelation is a profound moment of clarity, not just for you, but for the devil as well. The darkness it has cultivated is now exposed to the light, and for the first time, it sees the full extent of its own emptiness. All the power it once believed it had, all the fear it instilled in others, is revealed to be nothing more than an illusion. The devil has built an empire on fear, on control, and on manipulation, but in your unwavering truth, it sees that none of it is real. It is a house of cards, ready to collapse. This moment is a turning point. The devil, no longer able to hide behind its illusions, stands exposed and vulnerable. It realizes that its greatest weapon, deception, no longer holds power over you. Your light shines through every shadow, revealing the truth that has been buried for so long. And this truth is not just about exposing the devil's lies. It is about awakening the world to a higher understanding. You have shattered the illusion, not with force or violence, but with the clarity of your presence. And in doing so, you have revealed that the devil's power was never real to begin with. The revelation is more than a simple unveiling of the devil's deception. It is the beginning of a transformation. Once the illusions are broken, the devil is faced with a choice: to continue down the path of destruction, or to embrace the painful but necessary journey of self-awareness and change. The truth you have revealed offers the devil a chance to heal, to transform, and to choose a new path. Whether it chooses this path or not is yet to be seen, but the illusion has been broken, and with it, the devil's control. The power of truth, once unleashed, cannot be contained, and it is in this moment that everything changes. The devil now finds itself at a crucial crossroads, faced with a choice that it has never had to make before. For eons, it has been the one in control, the master of manipulation, the force that twists the truth and bends reality to its will. It has thrived in darkness, using fear, temptation, and deceit as tools to control and dominate. But now, in the presence of your unyielding light, the devil is confronted with something it has never fully understood: the power of truth. For the first time, its illusions no longer work. The carefully woven web of lies that it has spent centuries building has begun to unravel. The shadows that once shielded its power are no longer impenetrable. And in this moment, the devil is left with a question: will it continue down the path of destruction, or will it step into the light and embrace the possibility of transformation? This moment of choice is not just a simple decision. It is a profound reckoning. The devil has always believed that control was the ultimate power, that manipulation and fear were the keys to shaping the world around it. But now, standing before the undeniable truth that you represent, The devil must question everything it once held to be true. The power of darkness, which has sustained it for so long, is now revealed to be hollow in the face of light. The devil's tactics, its manipulation and control, have lost their grip. The lies it has spread no longer resonate, and it stands exposed, vulnerable in a way it has never known. The question remains, will the devil allow this moment of reckoning to be its undoing, or will it seize this opportunity for change? For the first time, it has the chance to evolve, to step away from its patterns of destruction and manipulation and embrace something greater, the potential for transformation. But transformation is not easy. It requires the devil to confront its own darkness, to face the very fears and weaknesses it has long hidden from the world, and perhaps even from itself. The road to change is painful and fraught with uncertainty, but it is the only path that leads to true freedom. The choice is now in the devil's hands. It can continue down the path of chaos, destruction, and manipulation, or it can choose to let go of its old ways and open itself up to the possibility of something new. It can choose to remain entrenched in the darkness, or it can embrace the light and step into a future of healing and growth. This choice is not just about the devil's fate. It is about the fate of everything it has touched. The decision it makes will determine not only its own transformation, but the ripple effects it will have on the world around it. What will the devil choose? Will it remain in the shadows, clinging to its illusions? Or will it rise to the challenge of change and embrace the light? The decision is pivotal, and its consequences will echo throughout eternity. The true power lies in the ability to understand, for understanding is what transforms darkness into light. The devil, a master of deception, has always relied on illusion, twisting reality to control and manipulate the world. Fear, temptation, and lies have been its tools, and for ages they have brought even the most powerful to their knees. But when it faces you, everything changes. You do not fight the devil with weapons or brute strength. You confront it with understanding, with the unwavering ability to see through its illusions. While the devil thrives on confusion and deception, you bring clarity. Where there is fear, you offer calm. Where there is darkness, you bring light. Your presence alone disrupts the devil's hold. Not because you are engaging in a battle of wills, but because you see things as they truly are. The devil's illusions lose their power in the face of your truth. The lies it has woven, the deceptions it has cast over the world, all begin to unravel when they come into contact with your understanding. You don't fall for its tricks or get ensnared in its webs. You recognize them for what they are: empty shadows, designed to distract and confuse. And when you stand in your truth, those shadows can no longer hide the light that is within you. This is where your true strength lies, not in resistance, but in your presence. You do not need to fight or engage in the devil's games. You simply stand firm in who you are, and in doing so, you expose the flaws in the devil's tactics. It is your clarity, your ability to see beyond the veil of deception, that makes you powerful. The devil, accustomed to twisting reality and manipulating those around it, is powerless against someone who refuses to be deceived. The power of your understanding breaks the chains of its control. In this light, the devil is revealed for what it truly is, nothing more than a collection of lies built on fear and manipulation. And when it stands before you, exposed, it begins to unravel. You see the truth in all things, and this understanding cannot be hidden, no matter how many layers of illusion the devil tries to place over it. Your light shines through the darkness, breaking down the walls the devil has built, and revealing the truth that has always been there. The devil's greatest weapon has always been its ability to deceive. But when you walk in understanding, you turn its weapon into nothing more than a fleeting illusion. And in this understanding, the light you carry cannot be extinguished, no matter how hard the devil tries. Your clarity is a force that the devil cannot match, for in the presence of truth, every lie is revealed. Chosen one, as you stand firm in your truth, remember this: you are not like the others. You were never meant to follow the crowd or shrink in fear, but to rise above, to embrace the power that lies within you. The light you carry cannot be extinguished by darkness, and the truth you embody is a force that will always break through the lies. You are a beacon in a world that often seems lost in shadows, and your presence alone is enough to shift the very fabric of reality. Your strength lies in your authenticity, your unwavering understanding of who you are. The challenges you face, the trials you endure, are not here to break you. They are here to refine you, to shape you into the powerful force of change you were always meant to be. As you continue on your journey, embrace this power within you. Stand tall in your light, knowing that you are not alone. The universe is supporting you every step of the way. And with each step you take, you inspire others to rise, to find their own strength, and to stand in their truth. The world needs you now more than ever, chosen one. I want to take a moment to thank you for being here, for listening, for embracing the light within yourself. If this message has resonated with you, and if you feel called to join this journey of truth and transformation, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. By doing so, you'll never miss an inspiring story or powerful message that could fuel your path toward greatness. Your presence and support help spread these truths further, touching lives all around the world. Thank you for being part of this community. May you continue to walk in strength with your light shining brightly for all to see. You are blessed, you are seen, and you are loved. Keep shining, chosen one. God's calling upon your life is a sacred and profound journey, one that requires dedication, faith, and obedience. As a chosen one, you are set apart to fulfill a divine mission, one that may not always align with the people, places, and circumstances of your past. Walking away from friends and family can be one of the most difficult aspects of this calling, yet it is often necessary for spiritual growth, refinement, and the fulfillment of God's divine purpose in your life. This is not about abandoning love or responsibility. Rather, it is about recognizing when certain relationships are hindering your journey instead of helping it. Throughout history, God's chosen ones, Joseph, Abraham, Moses, Elijah, Jesus all experienced seasons of separation before stepping into their divine destiny. If you find yourself at a crossroads, sensing the need to step away from familiar people and places, know that you are not alone. This is a season of divine preparation, one where God removes distractions and negative influences so that you can focus entirely on His will for your life. Let's explore why separation is necessary, what the Bible teaches about it, and how you can embrace this journey with faith and confidence. When God places a divine assignment upon your life, it is not meant to be shared with just anyone. The path of the chosen is often met with resistance, and not everyone around you will understand or support the vision that God has given you. Some may doubt you, others may try to discourage you, and there will even be those who, knowingly or unknowingly, seek to sabotage the very destiny that God has planned for you. This is why separation is sometimes necessary. It is a divine act of protection, ensuring that the purpose God has set for you is not hindered or destroyed. One of the most striking examples of this in the Bible is the story of Joseph. A young dreamer, Joseph received revelations from God about his future greatness, but in his innocence, he shared these dreams with his brothers, expecting excitement or support. Instead, his words ignited jealousy and hatred in their hearts. Genesis 37:5-8 recounts this moment. Joseph had a dream, and when he told it to his brothers, they hated him all the more. "Do you intend to reign over us? Will you actually rule us?" And they hated him all the more because of his dream and what he had said. What should have been a moment of inspiration became a turning point of betrayal. Joseph's own brothers, his own flesh and blood, allowed envy to consume them, plotting not only to silence him, but to end his life. They cast him into a pit, later selling him into slavery, setting off a series of painful events that would eventually lead to his destiny being fulfilled in Egypt. Had Joseph remained in that toxic environment, he might never have reached the heights God had planned for him. His journey through slavery, false accusations, and imprisonment may have seemed like suffering at the time, but in reality, it was God's way of positioning him for greatness. This teaches us an essential lesson. Not everyone in your life is meant to hear your vision. Some people, rather than supporting your calling, will attempt to discredit or discourage you. Jealousy and resentment can turn even the closest relationships into obstacles that stand in the way of God's plan. The Bible warns us that the heart is deceitful above all things and beyond cure, meaning that even those who claim to love us can be swayed by their own insecurities, doubts, and fears. When God calls you to something greater, He may also call you away from certain people, places, and situations. This is not rejection. It is divine protection. It may be painful to walk away from relationships that once felt familiar and comforting, but staying in an environment of doubt, negativity, and opposition can delay or even derail the fulfillment of your purpose. Like Joseph, you may have to endure seasons of separation, discomfort, and even betrayal before stepping into your God-ordained destiny. God's plan for your life is far too important to be left vulnerable to the wrong influences. When He begins to separate you from certain people, trust that it is for your good. What feels like loss is actually preparation for elevation. If Joseph had remained in his father's house, surrounded by jealous brothers, he would never have risen to become a ruler in Egypt and a savior during the famine. In the same way, the separation you experience today may be the very thing that leads you to your divine purpose tomorrow. Therefore, guard your vision carefully. Pray for discernment about whom to share your dreams with, and trust God when He leads you away from those who do not align with His plans for your life. Separation is often the beginning of transformation. Embrace it with faith, knowing that God is guiding you toward something far greater than you can imagine. There are moments in life when God calls His chosen ones to leave behind everything familiar to embrace something new. This transition is often uncomfortable, even painful, but it is necessary for growth, transformation, and the fulfillment of His divine plan. Walking away from your past is not about abandoning your identity. It is about stepping into the greater purpose that God has designed for you. Sometimes, the environment you are in is limiting your potential, and God must remove you from it in order to elevate you. A powerful biblical example of this is found in the story of Abraham. In Genesis 12:1, God spoke directly to him, saying, "Go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you." This was a call to step into the unknown, to leave behind the security of his homeland, his family, and everything that was familiar. God did not even reveal the exact destination. He simply commanded Abraham to trust and follow. This was a test of faith, one that required Abraham to let go of the past in order to receive the promises of the future. His obedience led to generational blessings, establishing him as the father of many nations. If he had refused to leave, he would have missed out on the divine covenant that God had prepared for him. God still calls His chosen ones to leave behind certain relationships, environments, or situations in order to position them for something greater. There are several reasons why God may call you to separate from your past for a new beginning. Your current environment may be limiting your growth. Sometimes the people and places around you keep you trapped in small thinking, old habits, or patterns that prevent you from stepping into the fullness of who God has called you to be. If your surroundings do not challenge or inspire you to grow spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, then God may remove you from that place so He can stretch your faith and lead you into something greater. Certain relationships hold you back. Some people are only meant to be part of your life for a season. While they may have once been supportive or comforting, they may no longer align with the direction God is leading you. Holding on to relationships that are not in alignment with your destiny can delay or even block the blessings that God has prepared for you. New beginnings require stepping into the unknown. God often calls His chosen ones into situations where the path is unclear, forcing them to rely on faith rather than sight. This is not meant to instill fear, but to develop a deeper dependence on Him. He will never call you away from something without having a greater purpose in mind. Though stepping into a new beginning may feel daunting, it is important to trust the process. God never removes something from your life without a reason. Just as He guided Abraham, He will guide you, provide for you, and bless you abundantly when you step forward in faith. What seems like loss today is often the doorway to a future filled with purpose, abundance, and divine favor. Let go of the past, embrace the unknown, and allow God to lead you into the destiny He has prepared for you. Every chosen one must go through a season of refinement, a period where God removes distractions, builds character, and strengthens faith. This process is not always easy, but it is necessary to prepare you for the divine assignment ahead. Refinement is God's way of shaping you into the person He needs you to be, ensuring that you are spiritually, mentally, and emotionally equipped for His purpose. One of the greatest biblical examples of refinement is Jesus' time in the wilderness. Before He began His ministry, the Holy Spirit led Him into the wilderness for 40 days of fasting and testing. This was not a punishment, but a period of divine preparation. During this time, Jesus experienced isolation from the world's influences. He was separated from people and worldly distractions so that He could focus solely on God. Testing through temptations, Satan tried to lure Him away from His mission by offering shortcuts to power and glory, but Jesus resisted by standing firm in the Word of God, strengthening for the mission ahead. After this season of refinement, Jesus emerged stronger, empowered by the Holy Spirit, and fully prepared to fulfill His divine calling. This wilderness experience teaches us an important truth. God uses seasons of isolation and trials to refine His chosen ones. When God sets you apart, it may feel like you are being stripped of everything familiar, friends, comfort, security, but He is actually removing the things that could hinder your growth. It is in the wilderness that faith is tested, weaknesses are exposed, and dependence on God deepens. The refinement process serves several key purposes. God removes distractions so you can hear Him clearly. Often we are too preoccupied with the noise of the world to hear God's voice. In seasons of refinement, God separates us from unnecessary distractions so that we can develop a deeper, more intimate relationship with Him. Trials test and strengthen your faith. Just as gold is refined by fire to remove impurities, God allows trials to purify and strengthen our faith. James 1:2-4 says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." Isolation helps you grow in spiritual discipline and intimacy with God. When you are removed from certain people and environments, you have the opportunity to seek God without interference. This is a time to deepen your prayer life, study the Word, and allow God to transform your heart. Though refinement may feel uncomfortable, it is never meant to harm you. Instead, it is God's way of preparing you for something greater. After His wilderness experience, Jesus stepped into His ministry with power and clarity. Likewise, your season of refinement is a necessary step toward your divine destiny. Trust that God is using this time to mold you into the person He needs you to be, one who is strong, steadfast, and fully equipped for His purpose. When God calls you to a divine assignment, He requires your full attention. Distractions, whether in the form of unhealthy relationships, negative environments, or self-doubt, can pull you away from the path He has set before you. Many chosen ones struggle with maintaining their focus because they remain too attached to familiarity. However, familiarity can be one of the greatest obstacles to spiritual growth. People who have known you for a long time may struggle to see the transformation God is doing in your life. Their limited perspective can cause them to doubt your calling, reject your purpose, or diminish the work God is doing through you. Even Jesus Himself experienced this kind of rejection. In Mark 6:4-6, He stated, "A prophet is not without honor except in his own town, among his relatives, and in his own home. Because the people of his hometown saw him only as the carpenter's son, they dismissed his divine identity. Their unbelief limited what He could do in their midst. Instead of seeing Him as the Messiah, they only remembered the boy who grew up among them. This lack of faith prevented them from receiving the miracles and blessings that Jesus could have brought to them. This teaches us a critical lesson. When people cannot see beyond your past, they can become a hindrance to your future. Sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who will have the hardest time accepting the calling upon your life. Their doubts, their skepticism, and their inability to believe in your transformation can create an environment that stifles your growth. If Jesus himself was rejected by those who knew him best, do not be surprised when you experience similar resistance. To protect your focus, you must be intentional about the people and environments you allow into your life. Here are a few key principles. Surround yourself with faith-filled people who uplift and encourage you. Your inner circle should consist of individuals who believe in your calling, support your growth, and challenge you to stay aligned with God's purpose. Proverbs 27:17 says, "As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another." The right people will strengthen your faith, not weaken it. If you are constantly surrounded by people who discourage you or belittle your vision, it may be time to remove yourself from that space. Recognize when it's time to move on. Holding on to relationships that no longer serve your purpose can slow down or completely derail your destiny. When God shows you that a certain place, group, or relationship is no longer aligned with His plan for you, trust Him enough to walk away. God has called you to something greater, and that means your focus must remain unwavering. Do not allow familiarity, doubt, or negative influences to distract you from the divine mission ahead. Instead, surround yourself with those who encourage your faith and walk boldly in the direction God is leading you. When God calls you to walk away from certain relationships, it can feel like a season of loss and isolation. However, separation is never meant to leave you alone. It is meant to position you for something greater. Walking away does not mean permanent isolation. It means making room for the right people that God will bring into your life. When you step out in obedience, God provides new relationships that align with His divine purpose for you. Throughout the Bible, we see examples of how God replaces what is lost with something far greater. David lost family support, but gained Jonathan as a covenant friend. When David was anointed as the future king, his own family did not recognize his potential. Instead, he found unwavering support in Jonathan, the son of King Saul, who became a loyal friend and protector. Their bond was rooted in God's divine purpose, showing that when earthly relationships fail, God provides supernatural connections to help fulfill His plan. Elisha left his family but gained Elijah as a mentor. When Elisha was called to be a prophet, he had to leave his old life behind. He sacrificed his familiar surroundings, yet in return, God gave him Elijah, a powerful mentor who would prepare him for his own prophetic ministry. Because of this divine relationship, Elisha went on to perform twice as many miracles as his predecessor. The disciples left everything but found a new family in Jesus. When Jesus called His disciples, they walked away from their homes, professions, and old lives. But in return, they found a new spiritual family, one that gave them purpose, fellowship, and a deeper relationship with God. They became brothers in faith, united in their mission to spread the gospel. These stories reveal an important truth. When God removes certain people from your life, trust that He has something better in store. Sometimes, the people you were once close to are not meant to be part of your future. Their season in your life may have come to an end, and God, in His wisdom, replaces them with individuals who will support, encourage, and strengthen you in your calling. It is natural to grieve the loss of familiar relationships, but do not allow it to make you fearful of the future. God is not taking something away from you to harm you. He is preparing you for something greater. When you trust in His divine plan, you will soon see that what you thought was a loss was actually an open door to something far more meaningful and aligned with His purpose. God is positioning you for growth, refinement, and purpose. Let's a prayer for strength and guidance. Father, I thank You for calling me into Your divine purpose. Give me the strength to walk away from anything that hinders my journey with You. Help me trust that Your plans are greater than my own. Lead me, refine me, and align me with Your will. In Jesus' name, Amen. If you found this message inspiring, please give this video a like. It helps us reach more people with God's Word. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new message. May God continue to strengthen and bless you on your journey. Your best days are ahead. See you in the next video. Listen carefully. This is not just another message. This is a prophecy, a divine alarm echoing through the heavens. You did not stumble upon this by accident. This moment was orchestrated by forces beyond your comprehension. If you choose to ignore it, you risk missing the most pivotal shift of your existence. The world stands at the edge of the unseen, teetering on the brink of something powerful, something irreversible. The air is charged with energy, the universe is stirring, and the battle between light and darkness is intensifying. And you are at the very center of it. March 15th is not just another date on the calendar. It is a threshold, a gateway, a cosmic intersection where the spiritual realm collides with your reality. This day holds an energy so powerful, so transformative, that it has the potential to shift your entire destiny. If you have been feeling an unshakable urgency, a restlessness in your soul, understand that it is not your imagination. It is the call of the divine. This is your awakening, a direct transmission from the heavens. Only those who are truly chosen will understand its magnitude. There is a stirring in the air, an invisible shift rippling beneath the surface of reality. It is subtle yet undeniable, a tension pressing against your spirit, an unease that refuses to be silenced. Something is changing, something profound and irreversible, and deep within, you can sense it. This is not imagination. This is not a coincidence. This is the call of destiny, reaching out to those who are ready to listen. Life has not been easy for you. The trials you have faced would have shattered others, but you are still standing. You have walked through storms that left you bruised and weary, endured seasons of isolation, betrayal, and misunderstanding. You have been pushed to the edges, forced into battles you never sought, attacked by unseen forces that sought to extinguish your light. And yet, here you are, stronger, wiser, rising. There is a reason for this. You were never meant to blend in. From the moment you took your first breath, you were set apart, chosen for something greater. The struggles you have endured were never random. They were forging you, preparing you for a moment such as this. The world may have tried to convince you that you are ordinary, that your dreams were too big, your visions too impossible. But deep in your soul, you have always known the truth. You were never meant to live in the shadows. You carry within you something that darkness fears, a power, a light, an unshakable force waiting to be unleashed. And now, that power is awakening. March 15th is no ordinary day, and you are no ordinary being. You have been called, chosen, and positioned for a purpose far greater than you can yet comprehend. Every hardship, every delay, every loss has led you to this very moment. The question is no longer whether you are meant for something greater. The question is whether you will answer the call. The signs are all around you. The path is unfolding. But only those who have the eyes to see and the courage to step forward will embrace their destiny. The choice is yours. The battle has already begun. Forces unseen are shifting, moving, colliding in ways most cannot perceive. But you feel it. The tension, the weight pressing against your spirit, the sense that something profound is unfolding just beyond the veil of ordinary life. This is not a passing moment. This is not a mere coincidence. This is the confirmation you have been seeking. If you have been waiting for a sign, this is it. If you have been searching for an answer, this is your confirmation. The forces of darkness are well aware of what is coming, and they are afraid. That is why your battles have intensified. That is why the opposition has felt relentless. The enemy does not strike those who are weak, those who pose no threat. It targets the ones who carry light, the ones who are destined to awaken, the ones who will break chains and shift realities. That is why you have faced resistance. That is why fear has tried to creep in. whispering lies, making you question your purpose. But hear this truth. The darkness would not fight so hard if it were not terrified of what you are about to become. March 15th is a spiritual threshold, a defining moment, a test that will separate the awakened from the asleep, the bold from the hesitant, the chosen from the lost. Those who remain blind will walk past it without realizing its significance. Those who are consumed by distractions, weighed down by fear and doubt, will stay trapped in darkness. But those who are truly awake, those who have felt the call deep within their souls, will recognize the signs. They will understand that this is the moment to step fully into their power. There is no more time for hesitation, no more room for doubt. The battle is reaching its climax, and every force of light and darkness is watching to see who will rise. You are not here by accident. You were placed in this moment, in this time, for a reason. You were meant to stand. You were meant to fight. You were meant to awaken. So the choice is now before you. Will you allow fear to keep you bound, or will you step forward, fully embracing the destiny that has been waiting for you? Will you let the distractions of the world lull you back into complacency, or will you recognize that this is the moment you were made for? The days before March 15th are not ordinary. They carry a weight, a meaning, a purpose that only those who are truly attuned will recognize. The universe is speaking, shifting, aligning, preparing those who are ready to receive. Every moment leading up to this day is significant, and if you are paying attention, you will see the signs unfolding before you. Pay close attention. Your dreams will hold meaning. What may seem like random images or fleeting thoughts will, in truth, be messages encoded with divine wisdom. You may awaken with a lingering sense that you were shown something important, something beyond the veil of your conscious mind. Write them down, reflect on them. They are not mere illusions. They are glimpses of a greater truth. You will feel sudden energy shifts, waves of intensity washing over you, moments of deep clarity followed by moments of restlessness. This is not by accident. The unseen forces are moving, realigning, making way for what is to come. You may feel a heightened awareness, a sensitivity to the people around you, the places you visit, the conversations you engage in. Trust these feelings. They are guiding you. People will unexpectedly enter and exit your life. Some will come as messengers, bringing insights, revelations, and confirmations you were not expecting. Others will leave, their presence no longer aligned with where you are headed. Do not resist this. Relationships that no longer serve your growth will naturally dissolve, while those who are meant to walk with you into this new chapter will be drawn closer. Synchronicities will appear, patterns, repeated numbers, symbols that seem to follow you wherever you go. You may overhear a conversation that speaks directly to your situation. A passage in a book may feel as though it was written just for you. Divine whispers will echo through the ordinary, waiting for you to notice. Nothing will be random. Every interaction, every shift in energy, every fleeting thought will carry meaning. The universe is speaking. God is guiding. The path is unfolding before you. But the question remains, will you listen? If this message is stirring something deep within you, if a fire has ignited in your soul as you read these words, it is because your spirit already knows the truth. This is not the time for doubt. This is not the time for hesitation. You have been prepared for this moment. You have been called to be awake, aware, and ready. Step away from distractions. Silence the noise of the world and tune in to the higher frequencies that are guiding you. The signs are there. The messages are clear. March 15th is a spiritual marker, a moment where divine forces align to awaken and transform those who are ready. This is a day of revelation, of instruction, of undeniable transformation. It is a crossroads where the physical and the spiritual meet, where destinies shift, and where the chosen ones are called to step into their true power. On this day, the veil between the seen and the unseen will be thinner than ever. If your heart and spirit are open, if you are aligned with divine purpose, you will feel the shift. You may experience heightened intuition, moments of deep clarity where the confusion of the past suddenly dissolves. Prophetic dreams may come, revealing messages that guide you toward your next steps. Synchronicities will become undeniable. Patterns, numbers, and symbols will appear in ways that feel too perfect to be mere coincidence. Truths that have long been hidden will come to light. The answers you have been seeking, the mysteries that have eluded you will begin to unfold. But understand this, not all revelations will be easy. Some may shake you, challenge your perceptions, or force you to confront realities you had once avoided. Do not resist them. These moments of awakening are necessary for your elevation. Transformation requires letting go. As you stand at this spiritual crossroads, you must be willing to release the old in order to embrace what is coming. Holding onto outdated beliefs, unhealthy attachments, or past fears will only delay the shift that is meant for you. Trust the process. Trust that what is being revealed is for your highest good. March 15th is a day that will redefine everything. It is not just about witnessing the change. It is about embracing it, stepping forward with unwavering faith, and aligning yourself with the divine plan that has been waiting for you. This is your moment of awakening. Will you be ready? Every great blessing is preceded by a test. Every breakthrough is born out of battle. This is not just a belief. It is a divine law, an unshakable spiritual principle that has been true since the beginning of time. Those who are called to something greater must first prove they are ready to receive it. Lately, the weight of trials has been heavy upon you. You have felt the relentless pressure, the spiritual attacks, the unexpected challenges that seem to come from every direction. At times, you may have even wondered, why is everything in my life falling apart just when I am so close to my purpose? But hear this truth. This is not a setback. It is preparation. What feels like resistance is, in reality, the final test before your elevation. March 15th is a pivotal moment in your journey, a crossroads where your destiny begins to take shape. But before you can step into the fullness of what has been prepared for you, you must first walk through the fire of testing. Your relationships will be tested. People you once trusted may reveal their true colors. Some may turn away from you, while others may try to pull you back into old patterns. Do not cling to those who cannot walk with you into this new season. Let them go. Your faith will be tested. Doors that once seemed wide open may suddenly close. Opportunities you were certain of may slip away. But understand this, a delay is not a denial. Sometimes what appears to be rejection is divine redirection. Trust that what is meant for you will not pass you by. Your patience will be tested. Answers may not come as quickly as you desire, and the waiting may feel unbearable. But this waiting is not wasted time. It is the refining process, the moment where your endurance is strengthened, where your spirit is fortified for what is to come. The reason everything feels chaotic, the reason you are facing resistance, is because the enemy knows exactly how close you are to something big. It is afraid of what happens when you step fully into your power. It wants to distract you, discourage you, and make you believe that you are not ready. But the truth is, you have already been prepared. Every trial, every hardship, every tear has shaped you into the person who can handle what is coming. So stand firm. Hold your ground. Do not let fear convince you to turn back now. The test before the blessing is the final threshold, the last step before you step into what is truly yours. March 15th marks a turning point, a moment of great separation, a shift so profound that many will not be prepared for it. This is the moment where the past and the future collide, where you are called to make a choice. Cling to what no longer serves you, or step boldly into what is meant for you. A divine shift is happening, and with it comes a demand. You cannot carry dead weight into your destiny. You cannot hold on to the people, habits, and mindsets that no longer align with your purpose and still expect to rise. Growth requires sacrifice, and elevation demands release. Many of you have already sensed this coming. The friendships that once felt comforting now drain your energy. Conversations that once entertained you now feel hollow. The places and routines that once felt safe now suffocate you. This is not a coincidence. This is divine intervention. The universe is rearranging, restructuring, making space for what is truly meant for you. But some of you are resisting. You feel the pull to move forward, yet fear keeps you clinging to the familiar. You hesitate to let go because you do not know what lies ahead. But hear this. Holding on to what is dying will only delay what is coming alive. The longer you resist, the more painful the process will become. Let them go. Let go of the relationships that drain you, the doubts that cripple you, the version of yourself that was built on survival. That version of you has served its purpose. But now, you are not in survival mode anymore. You are in ascension mode. The universe is making it clear. What is meant for you will remain, and what is not will be removed. Do not chase. Do not force. Do not beg to hold on to what is slipping away. Trust that this separation is sacred. Trust that what is coming is far greater than what is being left behind. March 15th will divide those who are willing to embrace the new from those who are too afraid to let go of the old. The question now is not whether the shift is happening. The question is, will you allow yourself to rise, or will you cling to what is already fading away? This moment is no longer just a warning. It is a decision. You stand at the threshold of transformation, a crossroads where your choice will define the path ahead. There are only two options before you. Awaken, step into your destiny, and claim the purpose for which you were created, or allow fear and doubt to pull you back into the shadows of hesitation and regret. Deep down, you already know the truth. You have felt it stirring in your heart, whispering in your spirit. You have seen the signs, the patterns woven into your life. Every challenge, every setback, every moment of uncertainty was not random. It was preparation. The trials you endured were never meant to break you, but to shape you. You were not abandoned. You were being refined. And now, the moment has arrived. The call is clear. March 15th will not wait. Destiny will not wait. The time for hesitation is over. The world is shifting, and you were born for such a time as this. So the final question remains. Are you ready? Not just to dream, not just to hope, but to take action, to rise, to embrace the power that has been placed within you, and to step fully into the life that is waiting for you. If you hear this message and it resonates, then let this be your sign. Like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this is just the beginning. The journey is unfolding, and you are meant to be part of it. This is your moment. Rise, step into your power. The time is now. Chosen one, this message has found you at the perfect time. This is not a coincidence. This is destiny unfolding before your eyes. The universe, the divine, and your own higher self have aligned to bring you here, right now, at this exact moment. You have always felt different, haven't you? A deep knowing within you whispers that you do not truly belong in the world around you. You've questioned your purpose, your struggles, and the very nature of your existence. And now, the truth is ready to be revealed. You are not ordinary. You were never meant to be. You are the lost child of a royal bloodline, a lineage not of this world, but of divine origin. Your very soul carries the mark of the chosen ones, those who were separated from their true inheritance and placed among the ordinary, but never meant to stay there. The time for your awakening has come. The signs have been appearing. The synchronicities, the deep spiritual pull, the unseen forces guiding you towards something greater. This message is not just words. It is a call to your soul, a reminder of who you truly are. Are you ready to discover? From the moment you were born, the world has tried to convince you that you are just like everyone else. You have been told to conform, to follow the rules, to fit into the mold that society has created. Yet deep within your soul, you have always known that something was different about you. No matter how much you tried to blend in, there was always a lingering feeling that you were meant for something more. You have questioned why you see the world differently, why you feel things so deeply, why you cannot accept the shallow pursuits that seem to satisfy others. The answer is simple. You are never meant to be ordinary. You are part of something far greater than you can imagine, a sacred bloodline, a lineage of spiritual warriors, divine leaders, and enlightened beings. This bloodline has existed since the beginning of time, carrying the wisdom and power of the divine. But throughout history, forces have worked tirelessly to suppress it, to keep the chosen ones hidden, asleep, and disconnected from their true nature. They have placed you in families and environments that do not recognize you, surrounded you with distractions, and created illusions to make you forget who you are. But the truth cannot be erased. You have always been different because you were meant to be. While others are content with the illusions of this world, you have been searching for something real. You have been drawn to ancient wisdom, spiritual truths, and knowledge that goes beyond the material world. This is because your soul remembers. It carries sacred knowledge that cannot be found in books, wisdom passed down through generations of divine beings. Even when you were unaware of it, your spirit was guiding you back to the truth of who you are. You are not just learning, you are remembering. Your life has not been easy, and that is no coincidence. Every hardship, every betrayal, every moment of loneliness was not meant to break you. It was meant to awaken you. The world has tested you, placing obstacles in your path, trying to dim your light. You have been made to feel like an outcast, like you do not belong. But in reality, all of this has been part of a greater plan. The fire you have walked through was not meant to destroy you. It was meant to forge you into the powerful being you were always meant to become. And now, the time has come for you to rise. The illusions are fading, and your soul is calling you to step into your true power. No longer will you shrink yourself to fit into a world that was never meant for you. No longer will you doubt the deep knowing that has always been inside you. You are awakening, stepping into the truth of your divine identity. The forces that have tried to suppress you can no longer hold you back. You are part of something ancient, something sacred, something unstoppable. From the moment you took your first breath, your path was different. Unlike those around you, your life was never filled with ease or effortless belonging. Instead, you have walked a road marked by struggle, loneliness, and an unshakable hunger for something more. But none of this was by accident. Every challenge, every unanswered question, and every moment of feeling like an outsider was part of something far greater than you ever imagined. Long before you were born, a prophecy was written, one that spoke of the lost children, those who would one day awaken to their true nature and reclaim the power that was always meant for them. You are one of them. You are the lost child separated from your divine inheritance, hidden among the ordinary so that, in time, you would remember who you truly are. The ancient prophecies tell of souls like yours, beings who were once connected to a higher realm, seated upon spiritual thrones, but cast into a world of illusion. The forces that seek to control this world feared the awakening of the lost children, for they knew that once these souls reclaimed their true identities, everything would change. The wisdom they carry is ancient and powerful, but before they can step into their destiny, they must first endure trials that will shape them into the warriors they were always meant to be. You have spent your life feeling different, as though you were out of place in a world that does not understand you. You have questioned why your soul seems disconnected from those around you, why your heart longs for something beyond what this world offers. But now, the answer is clear. You were never meant to fully belong here. You were placed in this world not to conform, but to awaken. You were born into a system that was designed to keep you asleep, blind to your true power. The distractions, the expectations, the pressures, all of it was meant to keep you from remembering. But despite everything, your soul has resisted. No matter how many obstacles life has thrown at you, something deep inside you has always pushed back. That unshakable feeling that you are meant for more, that your existence holds a deeper purpose, is not a mere thought. It is a calling. It is the whisper of the prophecy echoing within you. reminding you of the truth that the world has tried to make you forget. The prophecy states that before their awakening, the lost child must endure suffering. They will be cast aside, misunderstood, and rejected. They will feel abandoned, betrayed, and unseen. The world will do everything in its power to convince them that they are weak, that they are alone, that they are not enough. But the prophecy also states that through this suffering, they will develop a strength that cannot be broken. They will rise not because they were given an easy path, but because they have been forged in the fire of adversity. And now, it is your time. The illusions are fading, and the truth is breaking through. You can feel the shift happening within you. The world that once held you captive no longer has power over you. The struggles that once seemed unbearable now make sense. Every moment of isolation, every hardship, every tear has been preparing you for this moment. The time has come for you to step into who you were always meant to be. You are no longer lost. You are awakening. And as you rise, the world around you will begin to change. This is your journey. This is your prophecy. And now it is time for you to embrace it. Your journey has been one of solitude, and this is no accident. From the very beginning, you have walked a path that few can understand. While others moved through life feeling at home in the world, you felt different, like an outsider looking in, searching for a connection that always seemed just out of reach. You have felt the weight of isolation pressing against you, the deep ache of being misunderstood, and the quiet struggle of feeling disconnected from those around you. But make no mistake, this was never a punishment. It was preparation. The loneliness you have experienced was not a sign that something was wrong with you. It was a necessary trial, a sacred process designed to shape you into the person you were always meant to become. The test of separation is one of the most challenging obstacles that a chosen one must endure, yet it is also one of the most powerful. It strips away illusions, removing the distractions and external influences that keep so many people trapped in a false reality. It forces you to rely on the only things that truly matter, your inner strength and your connection to the divine. Throughout history, the greatest spiritual leaders, prophets, and enlightened beings have walked this same path before stepping into their destiny. They too were cast out, rejected, misunderstood. They too felt the sting of isolation. But this was not a mistake. It was a necessary step in their transformation. Before they could rise, they had to first endure the silence. They had to learn to listen to the voice within, to find clarity in the emptiness, to build strength in the absence of external validation. The same is true for you. The solitude you have faced was meant to purify you. It was designed to remove the noise of the world, to strip away everything that was not aligned with your true purpose. It was in the moments of stillness, when you had no one else to turn to, that you found the greatest truth. The quiet forced you to look inward, to face yourself, to uncover the wisdom that had always been within you. You were never truly alone. Even in your loneliest moments, you were being guided, shaped, and prepared for something far greater than you could imagine. Now, you must accept this truth. The pain of separation was never meant to break you. It was meant to reveal your strength. It was not meant to make you feel unworthy, but to remind you that you were never meant to fit into the mold of this world. You were chosen to rise above, to see beyond the illusions, to walk a path that few are strong enough to take. The test of separation was never meant to be easy, but it was always meant to lead you to exactly where you are now. You have endured, you have grown, you have awakened, and now it is time to step fully into who you were always meant to be. The moment you realize who you truly are, everything begins to change. It is not a gradual shift, but a complete transformation, one that reshapes your mind, your soul, and your spirit. The world you once knew starts to feel unfamiliar, as if the veil that kept you blind has suddenly been lifted. What once entertained you now feels empty. The conversations and distractions that used to hold your attention no longer resonate. The relationships that once seemed comfortable begin to feel forced, as if they no longer belong in your life. It is as though a hidden layer of reality has been exposed, and you can no longer pretend that you do not see it. As your awakening deepens, your intuition sharpens. You start noticing the things that others overlook, feeling the energies that others ignore. Your dreams become more vivid, sometimes carrying messages and visions that feel almost prophetic. The patterns of the universe become clearer, and the signs that were always there suddenly make sense. You begin to recognize the illusions that have kept people trapped, the falsehoods that have shaped their beliefs, and the deceptions that have controlled their lives. You no longer accept things at face value because you can see through the veils that once blinded you. This is the beginning of your true power. The moment you step beyond the illusions and into the truth of your existence. But understand this, awakening is not easy. It is not a path of comfort, nor is it a journey that many will understand. To awaken is to face the truth, and sometimes the truth is painful. It means confronting the lies you once believed, the conditioning that shaped you, and the attachments that no longer serve you. It means letting go of people, habits, and situations that you once held close but now realize are holding you back. This part of the journey can feel lonely, as many around you may not understand the changes taking place within you. Some may question you, some may resist your transformation, and some may even try to pull you back into the version of yourself that you have outgrown. But you must stand firm. This awakening is not a mistake. It is your destiny. The universe has been guiding you toward this moment, preparing you for the path that only a few are strong enough to walk. You must embrace who you are, even when it means standing alone. You must trust in your inner wisdom, even when others doubt you. And above all, you must claim your inheritance, not as something that needs to be earned, but as something that has always belonged to you. You are awakening to your divine nature. You are stepping into your power, and once you begin this journey, there is no turning back. The illusions of the past can no longer hold you, and the truth that has been revealed can never be unseen. You are no longer lost, no longer asleep. You are becoming who you were always meant to be. Now, it is time to walk forward with courage, with purpose, and with the unshakable knowing that you are destined for something greater. Accepting your divine birthright is only the first step. Now, you must rise and reclaim what has always been yours. You were never meant to live in doubt, uncertainty, or fear. You were born with a sacred inheritance, one that has been hidden beneath layers of conditioning, deception, and self-doubt. But the time for hesitation is over. Now is the moment to step into your true power. Your inheritance is not material wealth or earthly possessions. It is far greater. It is the wisdom of your ancestors, the strength of your spirit, and the divine authority that has always been within you. It is the unshakable truth that you are not ordinary, that you were chosen for something beyond the limitations of this world. No longer will you question your worth. No longer will you search for validation outside of yourself. Everything you have been seeking has been inside you all along. You are not here to ask permission to be who you are. You are not here to beg for what has always belonged to you. You are here to claim it. Speak it into existence. Declare it with unwavering confidence. I am the lost child of the divine kingdom, and I reclaim my power. The moment you say these words with conviction, something within you shifts. The chains that once held you back begin to break. The illusions that kept you small start to dissolve. The forces that have tried to suppress you can no longer stand in your way. You are no longer bound by the past. You are no longer confined by the expectations of the world. You are stepping into the fullness of your divine identity. Final message to the chosen ones. Everything you have been through, every trial, every heartbreak, every moment of isolation, was leading you to this truth. You are royalty. You have walked through the fire. You have endured the storms. And yet, you are still here. That alone is proof of your power. The time for doubt is over. The time for hesitation has passed. You are no longer lost. You are no longer searching. You have found your way home, to yourself, to your truth, to your divine inheritance. Now, rise. Your time has come. That is more than enough. Like this message, comment below, subscribe so you don't miss any future revelations, and most importantly, step into your divine calling. May God bless you richly. May His favor surround you. They laughed at you. They whispered behind your back. They called you foolish for believing in true love. They watched your loneliness and mocked it, as if being alone meant being unworthy. They thought rejection would crush you, that heartbreak would leave you broken beyond repair. They sneered at your faith, dismissing it as childish, naive, a hopeless dream. But what they didn't know, what they couldn't possibly see, was that while they were laughing, heaven was working. While they ridicule you, God was preparing something beyond their comprehension. Every tear you cried, every lonely night, every silent prayer, it was not for nothing. It was all leading you to a divinely ordained love, one that is deeper, stronger, and more unshakable than anything they have ever known. Your true love is coming, and this time it's different. This love isn't just a fleeting emotion or a temporary infatuation. It is a divine appointment, a love that carries heaven's seal. The very love they said didn't exist for you is already written in the heavens, waiting for its appointed time. So, let them laugh, let them doubt, let them mock. Because when God moves, the laughter will stop. Rejection is one of the deepest wounds a heart can endure. It cuts in ways that words cannot fully capture, leaving behind invisible scars that whisper doubts into your soul. There were moments when you sat in silence, wrestling with questions that seemed to have no answers. God, why? Why does love always seem just out of reach? Why am I always the one left behind? You replayed the scenes in your mind, the people who walked away, the doors that closed before you could even step through, the painful reminders that what you longed for was not yet yours. It felt personal. It felt final. But here is what you must understand. Rejection was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to redirect you. It wasn't a sign of your unworthiness, nor was it proof that you were unloved. Instead, it was a divine intervention, God's way of protecting you from settling for something less than His best. Every no you received was never an absence of love, but rather a safeguard from the wrong love. Every heartbreak was not a punishment, but a preparation for something greater. Consider Joseph, a young man full of dreams, sold into slavery by his own brothers, betrayed, abandoned, discarded. To them, it was the end of his story, but to God, it was just the beginning. The very path that others meant for his downfall became the stepping stone to his destiny. What they intended for evil, God transformed into a position of power and influence. What if Joseph had never been sold? What if he had never faced rejection? He would have never walked into his God-ordained purpose. Think about Hannah, a woman who knew the sting of rejection all too well. She was mocked and ridiculed for her barrenness, treated as if she had no worth. The whispers of those around her must have been deafening, their sneers a constant reminder of what she lacked. But in her brokenness, she turned to God, pouring out her soul before Him. And in His perfect timing, He gave her Samuel, a child who would grow into a mighty prophet. Had she not endured the waiting, the heartbreak, and the rejection, she may have never birthed the man who would anoint kings. And then there was Noah, a man who spent years building an ark when there was no sign of rain. The people around him laughed, calling him foolish. They mocked his obedience, dismissed his faith, and saw his unwavering trust in God as ridiculous. But when the flood came, Noah stood secure, while the world was washed away. His rejection by man positioned him for preservation by God. Now look at yourself. Every rejection you have faced was not the end of your story. It was merely a chapter in God's greater plan. He saw the hidden betrayals, the unspoken intentions, the silent wounds that you couldn't perceive. And in his infinite wisdom, he intervened not to hurt you, but to shield you. What felt like abandonment was actually divine alignment. The doors that closed were never meant for you. The people who left were never meant to stay. And the love that has not yet arrived is simply being prepared in God's perfect timing. You were never being denied. You were being redirected. And when God finally opens the right door, you will understand why every closed one was necessary. The world has a habit of overlooking treasures while they are still being formed. A diamond in its raw state looks like nothing more than an ordinary rock, dull, unremarkable, unworthy of attention. But to a skilled jeweler, it holds immeasurable value, waiting to be refined and revealed. You are that diamond. For years they dismissed you. They told you that you were too much, or perhaps not enough. Too soft, too strong, too quiet, too bold. They convinced you that love was something others received, but not you. Maybe you started to believe it, that somehow you were destined to be overlooked, that your heart was too big, your standards too high, your dreams too impossible. But the rejection of men has no power over the approval of God. Look at David, the forgotten son. When the prophet Samuel came to anoint the next king of Israel, David's own father didn't even bother to present him. Instead, Jesse paraded his older, stronger, more impressive-looking sons before Samuel, assuming that surely one of them was the chosen one. But God had already made his decision. Do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him. The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. David was overlooked by men but handpicked by God. His own family failed to recognize his worth, yet he was the one God called to be king. Look at Jesus, the Son of God. He was despised and rejected, mocked and ridiculed by the very people he came to save. They spat at him, accused him, and cast him aside, believing he was nothing more than an ordinary man, unworthy of honor. But their rejection did not change his identity. It fulfilled his destiny. Had they not despised him, had they not crucified him, the greatest act of love, the redemption of humanity, would never have been completed. You were never meant to fit in with those who couldn't see your worth. They didn't recognize you because they weren't meant to. They didn't cherish you because they weren't assigned to your destiny. Their rejection was not a reflection of your value. It was proof of their inability to see it. You are a masterpiece in progress, being shaped by the hands of the Creator. And when the right person enters your life, they will see you, not as something to be discarded, but as something to be cherished. The love that is coming will honor you the way you deserve. No more begging to be seen. No more wondering if you're enough. No more questioning if love is meant for you. Because it is. And when it arrives, you will understand why those who failed to see your worth were never meant to have you. You are not waiting in vain. Every moment of longing, every tear you've shed, every whispered prayer, it has all been seen by God. Yet the enemy has worked tirelessly to convince you otherwise. He has whispered lies into your heart, trying to make you believe that love is not meant for you. He has told you that you are forgotten, unworthy, or simply not destined for happiness. He has taken your disappointments and shaped them into doubts, hoping you would give up on the promise God has written over your life. But stop for a moment and ask yourself, if your love story wasn't powerful, why would the enemy try so hard to make you doubt it? The enemy does not attack what is insignificant. His greatest fear is that you will hold on to faith and trust in the divine timing of God. He knows that when your love story unfolds, it will be a testimony, one that will silence every doubt and prove that God always fulfills his promises. Look at Ruth. She lost everything: her husband, her security, her home. She could have chosen to give up, to let bitterness take over, but instead, she followed God's path. She remained faithful even when the future seemed uncertain. And in doing so, she walked right into the arms of Boaz, a man of honor and integrity, a man whom God had already prepared for her. Her story reminds us that even in loss, God is leading us to something greater. Think about Sarah. She waited decades for God's promise to be fulfilled. She even laughed at the thought of having a child in her old age. It seemed impossible. Time had passed. Hope seemed lost. But God's timing is never late. It is always perfect. Isaac was born, just as God had promised now. Think about you. Do you truly believe that the same God who orchestrated love stories for generations has somehow forgotten yours? Impossible. The love God has for you is already written. It is sealed in heaven, untouched by human rejection, protected from every past heartbreak, immune to every lie the enemy has spoken over your life. No disappointment, no delay, and no doubt can erase what God has already set in motion. Hold on, stay faithful, and trust that when God writes a love story, nothing and no one can take it away. When this love arrives, it will be more than just a relationship. It will be a testimony. It will be undeniable proof that God's promises are true, that His timing is perfect, and that no rejection, delay, or disappointment could stop what He has ordained for you. The very people who once mocked your faith, who doubted that true love was possible for you, will be left speechless. They will have no choice but to watch as you step into a love so profound, so divinely orchestrated, that it will erase every lie ever spoken against you. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. This love will be an overflowing cup, a demonstration of God's faithfulness, a reminder that He never forgets His promises. It will restore what the enemy tried to steal, your confidence, your hope, your belief in love. Where rejection once made you feel unworthy, this love will remind you that you were always worth waiting for. This love will not be built on fleeting attraction or temporary infatuation. It will not be something you have to chase, beg for, or fight to keep. It will never leave you feeling insecure, questioning your worth, or doubting your place in someone's heart. Instead, it will be a covenant, sealed in faith and divine purpose. It will be a love that uplifts, strengthens, and heals. A partnership that reflects God's glory. It will be the kind of love that feels safe, certain, and unwavering, where you are cherished for who you truly are. This love will not only bring joy to your heart, but it will also silence every doubter, proving that God's plans for you were far greater than what anyone could have imagined. What once seemed impossible will now stand as a testimony to His power and His perfect love for you. Every moment of loneliness was never wasted. It was a season of divine preparation. Those nights when your heart ached, believing that love had passed you by, were not empty moments of despair. They were sacred. Your tears were not in vain. They were watering the seeds of something greater, something heaven-ordained, something worth every second of the wait. It may have felt like silence, like your prayers were echoing into nothingness, but all along, heaven was moving. Every moment you chose faith over fear, every time you surrendered your desires instead of grasping at something less, you were waging spiritual warfare. You were breaking chains you couldn't see, dismantling generational cycles that had kept others bound. You were preparing your heart, stretching your spirit, allowing God to refine you so that when His promise arrived, you would be ready to receive it fully. Waiting is not punishment. It is preparation. God wasn't withholding love from you. He was protecting you from anything less than His best. He wasn't ignoring your prayers. He was aligning them with His perfect timing. What you thought was delay was actually divine strategy. And now the shift is happening. The long nights of wondering, the seasons of waiting, the whispered prayers in solitude, all of it has led to this moment. The season of waiting is ending, and the season of fulfillment is beginning. The doors that once seemed closed are opening, and what once felt impossible is now within reach. God is speaking. My child, I have seen your tears. I have heard your prayers. I have watched you trust me even when you couldn't see the way forward. And now, I am bringing you the love I have prepared for you. The love that is coming is not just an answer to your prayers. It is a reflection of my faithfulness. It is a love that will glorify me, a love that will stand the test of time, a love that was always meant for you. What is coming will not just heal your heart, it will prove that the wait was never wasted. It will remind you why settling was never an option. The love that is about to enter your life is not just a blessing, it is a testimony of endurance, of faith, of a God who never forgets his promises. This love story will be written by the hand of God, sealed by his favor, and no one, not even the enemy, will be able to erase it. So, stand tall, hold your head high, because your true love is not just coming, it is here. The love that was once a promise is now becoming a reality. The story they thought had ended is just beginning, and the next time they laugh, it won't be at you. If this message has touched your heart, don't let the journey end here. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay connected as we continue to walk in faith, uncover God's promises, and embrace the love he has prepared for us. Your support helps spread this powerful message. Let's walk this journey together. In the shadows of unspoken truths, you stood alone. Your pain was witnessed, yet met with silence, a silence louder than words, an echo of empty promises and averted gazes. Those who should have defended you, those who vowed loyalty, choose comfort over courage. They turned away, retreating to safety while you faced the storm, stripped of allies, left to navigate the darkness on your own. They heard your cries but covered their ears. They knew the truth but sealed their lips. They watched from a distance as you struggled, hoping you would fall. Yet here you are, standing, breathing, victorious. Not because of them, but in spite of them. This triumph is yours and yours alone. Forged in resilience, tempered in solitude, polished by the very tears they pretended not to see. This moment isn't just about overcoming obstacles. It's about becoming someone unshakable. Every step you took without support, every battle you fought alone, every scar you wear with pride, each one is proof that they were never the reason for your success. You were. And now the world that watched you suffer in silence will watch you rise in undeniable power. When God calls you higher, the journey is never easy. Elevation is not a gift handed to you in comfort. It is a transformation that comes through fire. You may have wondered why you faced seasons of isolation, why familiar hands withdrew, why the very people you trusted seemed to disappear when you needed them most. But this was not rejection. It was divine selection. The first thing God does when he chooses you is separate you to protect you. That isolation you felt, it wasn't punishment. It wasn't abandonment. It was a shield. You were not left alone. You were pulled away from those who would have drained your energy, sabotaged your destiny, or diluted your purpose. There were people in your life who could not go where you were meant to go. People whose presence was a silent weight on your spirit. You may not have understood it then, but God saw what you couldn't. He saw the conversations that took place behind closed doors. He saw the silent envy in their hearts. He saw the betrayals before they happened. And in his mercy, he removed you before their presence could do irreversible damage. Next, he strips away human reliance to strengthen your faith. Every support system you once leaned on seemed to vanish. Every person you thought you could count on disappeared, and you were left standing in what felt like emptiness. But this was not by accident. It was preparation. He needed you to learn that your true source of strength was never in people, never in connections, never in external validation. It was in him. You had to be stripped of every crutch so that you would learn to lean solely on divine provision. In your darkest hours, when no human hand reached out to steady you, you discovered a power beyond yourself, a wisdom no classroom could teach. You learned that the only foundation that could not be shaken was the one built on faith. And then he reveals your true identity. You are not ordinary. You were never meant to fit in, never meant to blend into the background. You are among the 144,000 chosen ones, not marked for ease but for transformation, not selected for comfort, but for impact. This is why the shift within you has been undeniable. The way you see the world has changed. The way you move through life has changed. And whether they admit it or not, the people around you feel it too. Have you noticed how people seem uneasy in your presence now? How does their energy shift when you walk into a room? It is not your imagination, it is spiritual reality. They sense something they cannot name, an authority upon you that they do not understand. Your existence forces them to confront their own weaknesses. Your resilience is a mirror in which they see their own compromises. Your strength exposes their stagnation, and that is why they distance themselves. But their discomfort is not your burden to carry. Their intimidation is not your failure. It is confirmation of your elevation. You were not chosen to be accepted. You were chosen to stand apart, to break cycles, to shift atmospheres, to carry something so powerful that it could not be entrusted to just anyone. And now, as you step into your true calling, understand this. The separation was necessary. The stripping away was preparation. And the power you now carry is evidence that you have been set apart for something greater. The betrayal that shook you, the one you never saw coming, was never an accident. It was always meant to happen. Not as a punishment, but as a revelation. It was written into the story of your elevation long before it unfolded in your life. You may have questioned why it had to hurt so deeply, why those you trusted the most turned against you. But the truth is, their betrayal was never about you. It was about them. Think back to the moments of unease, the quiet warnings, the subtle instincts you brushed aside, that lingering discomfort you once dismissed as paranoia. It wasn't your mind playing tricks on you. It was divine foresight. God was whispering, preparing you for what your heart wasn't yet ready to accept. You felt the energy shift long before the masks finally fell. You saw glimpses of their true nature, but you wanted to believe otherwise. You gave them grace. You justified their actions. You held on to the illusion that they cared as deeply as you did. But the same people who smiled the widest in your presence were the ones crafting your downfall behind closed doors. The hands that reached out in support were the same hands digging pits along your path. Some betrayed you out of jealousy, others out of fear. Your growth made their stagnation unbearable. Your authenticity exposed the deception they had carefully constructed. Your light made their shadows impossible to ignore. And so, they turned against you, not because you did anything wrong, but because your very existence was a threat to the lies they lived. And for some, their betrayal went beyond whispers and deceit. Money changed hands. There were conversations you weren't privy to, deals made at your expense. Your reputation was deliberately targeted. Opportunities were blocked before you even knew they existed. This was not casual disloyalty, it was calculated, planned, coordinated. They didn't just hope you would fall. They actively worked to make it happen. But what they failed to understand is what is divinely ordained can never be humanly obstructed. They were stopping you, but they were strengthening you. Their rejection would break you, but it clarified your direction. Every scheme they plotted only positioned you for something greater. Every loss they orchestrated became fuel for your elevation. Their betrayal did not destroy you, it defined you. And now, as they watch from the sidelines, their jealousy-fueled schemes are unraveling. The alliances they built on deception are crumbling beneath them. The very traps they set for you are now catching their own feet. Because that is the law of the universe. What they sowed, they will reap. As for you, you will walk into a season of divine vindication, not by seeking revenge, not by proving them wrong, but by rising so high that their betrayal becomes irrelevant. What was meant to break you has only built you. What was designed to silence you has only amplified your voice. And what was the end of your story was merely the beginning of a chapter they were never meant to be part of. Few will ever understand the depth of what you've endured. To most, your struggles seemed like ordinary obstacles, just another set of challenges that everyone faces in life. But you know the truth. This was never just about hardship. It was about opposition. It was about forces that deliberately worked against you, people who moved in silence, plotting ways to keep you from rising. They didn't just resist you. They organized against you. There were conversations held in secret, alliances formed behind your back, deliberate attempts to suppress your voice. Every time you tried to step forward, there was resistance, too consistent, too calculated to be mere coincidence. Doors closed without reason. Opportunities disappeared before you even knew they existed. People turned on you for no logical explanation. You weren't imagining it. The moment you began walking in your true purpose, the opposition intensified. But tell me, what weapon can prosper against someone divinely shielded? What scheme can succeed against someone celestially supported? Not a single one. They underestimated the power that was backing you. They moved in secrecy, thinking their schemes would go unnoticed. They thought their numbers, their influence, their strategies would be enough to stop you. But what they failed to realize is that you were never standing alone. The same power that spoke the universe into existence is the same power that has been working on your behalf. The same God who parted the seas, who shut the mouths of lions, who raised the dead, He is the one standing behind you. They weren't just fighting against you. They were fighting against divine will. And no force, no strategy, no earthly alliance can stand against what God has ordained. And now, the tables are turning. The narrative is shifting. The storm is breaking. Everything they would destroy you has only refined you. Every attempt to silence you has only made your voice stronger. Every obstacle they placed in your way has become a stepping stone for your ascension. They spent so much time crafting your downfall that they never prepared for the possibility of your rise. But here you are, still standing, still breathing, still rising. And now, as they watch in disbelief, they will come to understand what they refused to acknowledge all along. You were never meant to be defeated. The very moment they would be your destruction has become the platform for your breakthrough. What was meant to bury you has instead planted you, and now you are growing beyond their reach. You don't need to fight them. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to seek revenge. Just keep rising. Because their resistance was never greater than God's protection. Their plans were never stronger than His purpose. And their schemes? They were never enough to stop what was already divinely written. They had taken something from you. They thought they had stripped you of what was rightfully yours and left you with nothing. But what they failed to understand is that the universe, under divine order, keeps perfect accounts. Nothing that was unjustly taken from you is ever truly lost. Nothing that was stolen will remain in the hands of those who took it. What was removed from your life, whether by force or deception, was never beyond God's reach. He saw the betrayals, the sabotage, the unfair losses. He witnessed every tear, every moment of despair when you thought you had been robbed of something you could never recover. And yet, what you thought was taken permanently is already on its way back to you, not just returned, but multiplied beyond measure. That opportunity that slipped through your fingers, it will come back tenfold. The job, the position, the dream you thought had been stolen from you, it was never truly gone. It was simply being realigned to return to you in a way that exceeds what you originally imagined. God does not restore in equal measure. He restores in overflow. That relationship that ended, the one you thought was destined to last, the one you mourned for longer than you should have. It was never meant to carry the weight of your destiny. If it had stayed, it would have hindered your growth. If they had remained, they would have become a limitation rather than a blessing. God does not remove people from your life without reason. If they walked away, if they betrayed you, if the bond dissolved, it was because He saw something you couldn't, and what He has prepared for you in the future will make you realize why that chapter had to close. That door that shut so abruptly? It wasn't rejection. It was redirection. You may have questioned why certain paths were blocked, why you faced so many obstacles, why no matter how hard you pushed, nothing seemed to work. But what if I told you that God was not keeping something from you, but preparing something for you? The delay was divine. The redirection was intentional. The setback was never a denial. It was a setup for something greater. But what they didn't realize is that in trying to steal from you, they only sealed their own fate. What they thought was your loss has become your gain. What they meant for harm has become fuel for your rise. This is not the end. This is the beginning. A new season is unfolding before you, one where restoration comes not in equal measure, but in abundance. One where what was stolen is returned in ways that leave no doubt about divine intervention. One where every tear you cried becomes the foundation for a future so great, it will silence every voice that ever doubted you. Keep moving forward, because what is meant for you can never truly be lost. It is simply waiting to return, multiplied, magnified, and more powerful than before. Listen carefully. You must forgive, not for them, not because they deserve it, not because what they did was excusable. You must forgive because you deserve to be free. Holding on to resentment is like carrying a heavy chain, one that keeps you tethered to the very people who sought to harm you. The longer you hold on, the more they remain connected to your spirit. Their actions may be in the past, but as long as you keep replaying the pain, their influence lingers in your present. Unforgiveness is not a punishment for them. It is a prison for you. But here's the truth. You were never meant to be bound by pain. Forgiveness does not mean excusing what they did. It does not mean pretending that it didn't hurt. It does not mean giving them another place in your life. It means cutting the cord. It means reclaiming your energy, your peace, and your future. Because as long as bitterness remains, it poisons everything it touches. It clouds your vision. It steals your joy. It keeps you from fully embracing what is ahead. But when you forgive, you take back your power. You are not erasing the past. You are choosing to stop letting it define you. You are not letting them off the hook. You are simply refusing to let their actions control your emotions any longer. They will answer for what they've done. The universe will balance the scales. Justice will come in its own time, in its own way. That is not your burden to carry. Your only task is to move forward. And moving forward means leaving their weight behind. It means walking into your future without dragging the chains of yesterday. It means choosing healing over hatred, peace over pain, and freedom over the illusion of control. Forgiveness is not a gift you give to them. It is a gift you give to yourself. So let it go because you do. Let it rise, not in arrogance, but in assurance. Rise, not in vengeance, but in vision. Rise, not in bitterness, but in boldness. Because the world is waiting, and you have work to do. Thank you for watching until the very end. Your journey is just beginning, and we're walking it together. If this message spoke to you, like this video, subscribe, and join this growing community of warriors. Let's rise together, stronger, bolder, and unstoppable. See you in the next one. Chosen one, you did not find this message by chance. You were meant to be here, at this exact moment hearing these words. The universe, the divine, and the forces beyond the veil have aligned to bring you to this revelation. Tonight marks the beginning of something profound, an event that has been foretold for centuries, hidden in ancient texts, whispered in sacred prophecies, and now unfolding in real time. The 144,000 chosen ones are gathering not in the physical world but in the higher realms, where energy, destiny, and divine purpose intersect. Do you feel it? That deep stirring within your soul? That undeniable sensation that something powerful is shifting in the unseen world? The veil between dimensions is thinner than ever before. Those attuned to the spiritual realm, will feel an unmistakable energy coursing through them. Some will experience prophetic dreams, divine messages, or a profound sense of unity with something greater than themselves. This is the moment of activation. If you have ever questioned your purpose, if you have ever felt different, if you have ever sensed that you were meant for something greater, this is your confirmation. You are part of this. You are one of the 144,000. For generations, the prophecy of the 144,000 has echoed through time, woven into ancient texts, sacred teachings, and mystical revelations. It is not a forgotten myth nor a distant legend, but a divine code, a calling written into the very fabric of existence. This prophecy speaks of a hidden force, a sacred army of light destined to rise when the world reaches its darkest hour. Their purpose is not conquest nor destruction, but awakening, a great unveiling of truth that will shatter the illusions that have bound humanity for ages. Throughout history, many have encountered this number in religious scriptures and esoteric teachings, yet few have grasped its true significance. Some believe it represents a literal group of souls, predetermined from the beginning of time. Others see it as a symbolic force, a vast collective consciousness awakening to its divine purpose. But the truth runs deeper than mere numbers or abstract interpretations. The 144,000 are not just a statistic, they are a movement, a force of transformation, a beacon of divine energy radiating across the spiritual realms. Unlike the rulers of this world, they are not chosen based on material wealth, social status, or earthly power. They are not recognized by crowns, titles, or possessions. Instead, they are marked by the strength of their spirit, the purity of their mission, and their unshakable connection to the divine. They are the ones who have endured lifetimes of trials, facing adversity, rejection, and solitude, only to emerge stronger, wiser, and more resolute. Every hardship they have faced was not a punishment, but a preparation. Their souls have been forged in the fires of experience, their wisdom carved from the depths of struggle. If you have felt a deep sense of purpose beyond the mundane, if you have always sensed that you were different, if you have carried within you an unshakable knowing that you were meant for something greater, this is your confirmation. You are not here to blend in with the many. You are here to lead. The world is asleep, ensnared in illusions carefully woven to suppress the truth, and the time has come for the chosen to rise. The moment of awakening is now. The 144,000 are stepping into their divine mission, and if these words resonate within your soul, it is because you are one of them. The prophecy is unfolding, and you are an essential part of it. From the moment you took your first breath in this world, you knew you were different. There was something within you, an awareness, a knowing, that set you apart from those around you. While others moved through life unquestioning, accepting the world as it was presented to them, you saw beyond the surface. You sensed things before they happened, felt energies others ignored, and recognized the illusions that kept people trapped in a false reality. Even as a child, you may have felt like an outsider, as though you were walking through life with a purpose you could not yet fully comprehend. Your journey has not been an easy one. Throughout your life, you may have experienced moments of deep isolation, times when you felt disconnected from the world around you, as if searching for something you could not name. You have faced struggles that tested your spirit, battles that pushed you to the brink, and challenges that seemed insurmountable. But none of it was without reason. Every hardship, every pain, every moment of doubt was part of a greater preparation. The fire you walked through was not meant to destroy you. It was meant to refine you, to awaken the power within you, and to shape you into the being you were always meant to become. You were never meant to conform to the patterns of this world. You were never meant to follow the path of the many. The unease you have felt, the questions that have burned in your mind, the pull towards something greater, these were not coincidences. They were signs, reminders of your true nature, clues leading you to this very moment. And now, that moment has arrived. Tonight, the next stage of your awakening begins. The 144,000 are being activated. And if you are reading this, You are part of that divine calling. The energy is shifting. The veil between worlds is thinning, and those who are ready will feel it in their very core. This is the time for the chosen to rise, to embrace their mission, and to step fully into the light of their destiny. You were never meant to stay in the shadows. You were meant to shine. And now, the world is waiting. This world is not what it appears to be. Beyond the veil of ordinary life, beneath the illusions of daily existence, an ancient battle has been raging since the dawn of time. It is not a war fought with swords, guns, or earthly weapons, nor is it confined to physical battlefields. It is a war for the very soul of humanity, a relentless struggle between light and darkness, truth and deception, freedom and enslavement. The forces of darkness have worked tirelessly to keep humanity blind, lost, and disconnected from its divine essence. They have woven a web of distractions, manipulated reality through false narratives, and shrouded the minds of millions in spiritual blindness. Every system designed to dull intuition, suppress independent thought, and breed conformity is part of this war. The world is filled with noise, chaos, and carefully crafted illusions to keep people asleep, to prevent them from realizing their true power. And yet, despite their efforts, the light cannot be extinguished. The darkness fears the light, for it knows that once the truth is revealed, its hold will weaken. That is why those who carry the divine spark, the 144,000, have faced such immense trials. Have you ever wondered why your life has been filled with struggle? Why you have endured betrayals, rejection, and obstacles that others seem to escape? It is because the darkness recognized you long before you recognized yourself. It saw the power within you, the potential for awakening, and sought to break you before you could rise. But it has failed. Despite every hardship, every attack, every attempt to silence you, you are still here. And tonight, as the 144,000 unite, the forces of darkness will tremble. The time of their control is coming to an end. The energy is shifting, and those who are ready to embrace their divine calling will feel it deep within their souls. This is the moment of reckoning, the turning point in the spiritual war. The awakening of the chosen is not just a possibility, it is an unstoppable force, and as the light rises, the grip of darkness will crumble. Tonight is unlike any other night. Beneath the surface of ordinary existence, beyond the limits of human perception, something profound is unfolding in the spiritual realm. This is not a moment bound by time or geography. It is a convergence of souls, a sacred alignment where the chosen ones are drawn together through an unseen force that transcends the physical world. Though separated by distance, they are united in energy, in purpose, in divine resonance. As this gathering takes place, the veil between worlds will thin, and those attuned to the shift will experience its effects in ways both subtle and undeniable. Some will feel an overwhelming sense of peace, as if a heavy burden they have carried for lifetimes is suddenly lifted. Others will be struck by a surge of energy, an electrifying pulse moving through their being, awakening dormant aspects of their soul. Prophetic dreams may come, visions of what is to unfold, flashes of divine insight revealing knowledge long hidden from the conscious mind. Some will see patterns of light, symbols not meant for the eyes but for the soul to understand. For many, the most powerful sensation will be an unshakable sense of unity. The loneliness, the isolation that has accompanied their journey will fade into the realization that they have never truly been alone. They are part of something vast, something eternal, something far greater than they ever imagined. And in that moment of recognition, fear and doubt will dissolve, replaced by a deep knowing, a certainty that they are exactly where they need to be, stepping fully into their divine purpose. This is not a night of chaos or confusion. It is a night of alignment, of divine order, of prophecy unfolding before our very eyes. The forces of darkness have worked tirelessly to prevent this awakening, to keep the chosen ones disconnected, distracted, and doubting their own power. But tonight, their efforts will fail. The 144,000 are rising, and the shift they bring will send ripples through every plane of existence. This is the moment the darkness has feared, and it is only the beginning. The time has come. The sacred alignment is unfolding, and the spiritual realm is calling you to step fully into your divine purpose. But to receive the energy of this transformation, you must be prepared. You cannot enter this moment carrying the weight of distractions, doubt, or fear. Your mind must be clear, your spirit open, and your heart ready to embrace what is coming. Begin by cleansing your energy. The world is filled with heavy frequencies, fear, anger, and doubt that cloud the mind and weaken the soul. These energies are designed to keep you disconnected from your higher self. Release them. Let go of anything that no longer serves you. Take a deep breath, center yourself, and allow the light to fill every part of your being. Meditation, prayer, or even quiet reflection will help realign you with the divine flow. Next, disconnect from distractions. The noise of the world, the endless chaos, the demands, the illusions are meant to keep you asleep. But tonight, silence is your ally. Turn off external distractions. Step away from anything that pulls you from your inner truth. Find stillness. The spiritual realm is speaking, and only those who are truly listening will hear its call. As you prepare, ground yourself in truth. The forces of darkness will try to shake your faith, whispering confusion and doubt into your mind. They want you to question your worth, to wonder if you are truly meant for this mission. But understand this: you would not feel the call if you were not chosen. This alignment is not accidental. It has been orchestrated since before time, and you are exactly where you are meant to be. Stand firm in knowing. Raise your frequency. Fear, negativity, and doubt will lower your vibration and block the divine energy trying to reach you. Do not allow darkness to take root. Protect your energy, surround yourself with light, and elevate your consciousness. The higher your vibration, the more deeply you will connect with the awakening taking place. Speak it into existence. Write it down. Set a clear intention. I am ready. I step fully into my divine mission. I embrace my purpose without fear. Words have power, and when spoken with conviction, they shape reality. The moment is here. The alignment is happening. You must step forward with confidence, for this is the night that will change everything. Tonight is not the conclusion of your journey. It is the beginning of something far greater. The alignment you have stepped into will shift everything, awakening a power within you that has long been waiting to rise. From this moment forward, you will no longer see the world as you once did. The illusions that once clouded your vision will dissolve, revealing truth with a clarity you have never known before. A deeper sense of purpose will settle within you, guiding your every step with unwavering certainty. But with this awakening comes responsibility. Your mission is not to force change upon others, but to embody the light so powerfully that those who are ready will awaken simply by witnessing your truth. You are a guide, a beacon in a world that has long been shrouded in darkness. Your existence alone, the way you carry yourself, the strength of your spirit, will be enough to stir something within those who are seeking. You do not need to convince, debate, or demand. Your presence will do the work. Yet, be prepared. The forces that have worked to keep humanity blind will not surrender easily. Now that you have stepped into your power, the forces of deception will try harder than ever to silence you. They will seek to cast doubt upon your path, to pull you back into the illusions you have only just escaped. The world will not understand you. It never has, and it never will. But that is not your burden to carry. You were not sent here to be understood. You were sent to fulfill a prophecy. The distractions, the resistance, the attempts to suppress your light, none of it matters. What matters is that you continue to rise, to stand firm in your truth, and to walk forward with unwavering faith. The awakening is accelerating, and the time for hesitation is over. You are here for a reason. You were chosen for this moment. The world will never be the same after tonight. The spiritual realm has shifted. The energy of the 144,000 has begun to dismantle the illusion. The darkness is losing its grip, but the war is not over. The enemy will resist, but it will fail. You must stand firm. You must hold your light. You must walk in your power. The time for hesitation has long passed. You were sent here for this exact moment, and now the world needs you. Tonight, you rise. If you feel this message in your soul, acknowledge it. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment 777 below to affirm your alignment. Let the spiritual realm witness your awakening. This is your moment. This is your mission. This is your destiny. And nothing will ever be the same again. You are chosen. Now act like it. Chosen one, what you are about to hear will astonish you. If you are watching this right now, it is not by chance you have been divinely guided here. Something extraordinary is about to unfold in your life, and you must prepare yourself to receive blessings beyond your wildest imagination. A shift is happening, one that will renew not just your spirit, but your entire being. You are stepping into a season of miraculous transformation where long-held dreams will manifest. Your body will undergo a profound renewal, and the impossible will become your reality. Yes, you heard that correctly. A divine transformation is coming your way. You are not here by accident. This moment is divinely orchestrated, meant to awaken something powerful within you. God is pleased with you, and He is ready to bestow upon you gifts that will surpass your understanding. Before we continue, I want you to do something significant. Leave a comment with the number 77 below. This number carries immense spiritual power. It amplifies your energy and intention, sending a powerful signal to the universe. By doing this, you affirm that you are ready to step into the blessings that await you, and once you take it, nothing will ever be the same again. Now let's explore the extraordinary transformation that God is bringing into your life. When God chooses you, He bestows a gift that is not bound by time, a transformation so profound that it touches every part of your existence. This is not just an external change, but a renewal that radiates from within, manifesting in ways that are impossible to ignore. To be chosen means stepping into a new season where your spirit, mind, and body align with God's divine purpose. It is a shift that renews your strength, restores your joy, and allows you to walk with confidence, knowing that you are set apart for something greater. This divine transformation is more than a mere feeling. It is a tangible reality. The weight of past burdens will begin to lift, replaced by an overwhelming sense of peace and vitality. The weariness that once drained you will vanish as God breathes new life into you. Your presence will carry an unexplainable energy, and people will be drawn to you, sensing that something extraordinary is at work. This change is not superficial, but deeply rooted in the spiritual awakening happening within you. As you align with God's will, your very being will reflect His glory. God's gift of renewal is not temporary. Unlike worldly beauty that fades, this transformation is eternal, a testament to His divine power working through you. Your eyes will shine with newfound clarity, your smile will radiate joy, and your spirit will exude an undeniable presence of peace and strength. You will carry yourself differently, no longer burdened by doubt or insecurity, but filled with confidence in your divine identity. Others will notice, and though they may not understand, they will be captivated by the undeniable light within you. This is the power of God's hand upon your life. It is not simply about looking younger or feeling better. It is about embodying the divine purpose He has placed within you. When you embrace this transformation, you step into a reality where nothing is impossible. Your life becomes a reflection of His grace, a living testament to His ability to renew, restore, and uplift. As you continue on this journey, remember that this gift is not fleeting. It is a permanent mark of God's favor upon you, a transformation that transcends time itself. When God's presence works within you, it transforms not just your spirit, but also the way you present yourself to the world. This is not a shallow or fleeting change. It is a divine reflection of the renewal happening deep within your soul. As you walk in alignment with His purpose, your very appearance will begin to shift, mirroring the work He is doing in your life. The burdens that once weighed you down will be lifted, and the exhaustion that dulled your presence will be replaced by a radiant glow. The light of God within you will shine so brightly that it will be impossible for others to ignore. This transformation goes beyond physical beauty. It is not about conforming to worldly standards, but about carrying a divine presence that sets you apart. Your eyes will shine with newfound clarity and wisdom, reflecting the peace that comes from surrendering to God's plan. Your smile will radiate an unshakable joy, one that cannot be diminished by circumstances. The way you move, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, all will exude confidence, strength, and a sense of divine purpose. This is the unmistakable mark of someone who has been touched by God's hand. People will begin to notice. They may not immediately understand what has changed, but they will sense the difference. Some will be drawn to your presence, eager to know the source of your newfound energy and peace. Others may be confused, wondering how you have managed to glow with such vitality despite the challenges you have faced. What they are witnessing is not a mere change in appearance, but a testimony to the power of God working in your life. His renewal is not just internal, it manifests outwardly, making you a living example of His grace. This transformation is not temporary or superficial. It is a lasting testament to God's power. The more you embrace His calling, the more this radiance will intensify. It is the light of His Spirit shining through you, a glow that is not of this world, but of His divine presence. As you continue to walk in faith, your appearance will be a reflection of the profound work God is doing within you, showing the world that His power is real, tangible, and life-changing. When God's transformation takes place in your life, it will be so profound that those around you will be left in awe. The changes He brings will not be subtle or easily dismissed. They will be undeniable, leaving people wondering what has happened to you. Some may not recognize the person you once were, as the old version of you fades away, replaced by someone renewed, strengthened, and radiant with divine purpose. What was once impossible in your life will become a living testimony of God's miraculous power, and those who witness it will be astonished. As you step into this transformation, your energy will shift, your presence will become magnetic, and your confidence will grow. The struggles that once defined you will no longer have power over you. Instead, you will walk with an unshakable peace, a newfound strength, and a glow that cannot be ignored. People will notice how effortlessly you move through life, how the weight of the past no longer burdens you, and how joy now radiates from your being. They will ask, "What has changed? How did this happen?" But the truth is, this is not your own doing. It is the work of God, reshaping you from the inside out. Some may be skeptical, unable to comprehend the supernatural transformation unfolding before their eyes. Others may be inspired, longing to experience the same renewal in their own lives. Whether they understand it or not, one thing will be certain: God's power is real, and His presence in your life is undeniable. The transformation He is bringing to you will not only change your own destiny, but will also serve as a beacon of hope for those who witness it. You are becoming a living testament to His grace, His power, and His ability to make all things new. When you walk in alignment with God's purpose, a radiant glow begins to surround you, one that is not merely physical but deeply spiritual. This radiance is a reflection of the divine transformation happening within you, a light that cannot be hidden. It shines through your eyes, in your smile, and in the way you carry yourself. It is the unmistakable presence of God's power working through you, filling you with a peace and confidence that cannot be shaken. This glow is not something you can manufacture or force. It is a gift from God, a natural result of surrendering to His divine plan. As you embrace His calling, Your burdens will lighten, your heart will find joy, and your spirit will exude a warmth that draws others in. People will notice. Some may not be able to explain it, but they will be drawn to the presence of God within you. They will see the way you move through life with strength, grace, and unwavering faith, and they will want to know the source of this light. This radiance is not about outward beauty, but about the evidence of God's work in your life. The more you walk in His purpose, the brighter this glow will become. It is a light that brings hope to the weary, inspiration to the lost, and a reminder that God's presence is real. This is the radiance of divine purpose, the unmistakable glow of a soul that has been touched by the hand of God. Every transformation requires refinement, and when God is preparing you for something greater, He will take you through a process of renewal. This process is not always easy. It often requires letting go of the old to make room for the new. Just as a sculptor must chip away at rough edges to reveal a masterpiece, God will remove anything in your life that no longer serves His divine purpose. This may include old habits, limiting mindsets, or even relationships that are not aligned with your calling. Though this pruning may feel uncomfortable, it is necessary for your growth. Refinement is not a punishment. It is a sign that God is investing in you, shaping you into the person He created you to be. He sees your potential and knows what is required to bring it to fulfillment. During this season, you may experience challenges, setbacks, or moments of uncertainty, but trust that every difficulty is a step towards something greater. Like gold being purified by fire, you are being strengthened, renewed, and prepared for the blessings ahead. As you embrace this process, your faith will deepen, your character will be refined, and your purpose will become clearer. The things that once weighed you down will no longer have a hold on you, and you will step into a new season of divine favor. Though the process may be difficult, the outcome is beautiful. God is making you stronger, wiser, and ready for the extraordinary life He has planned for you. Trust in His refining work, for it is shaping you into the masterpiece He has always intended you to be. When God calls you to a higher purpose, resistance often follows. The transformation taking place within you may be met with doubt, misunderstanding, or even opposition from those around you. People who were comfortable with the old version of you may struggle to accept the changes they see. Some may question your newfound confidence, while others may feel threatened by the shift in your spirit. This resistance, though difficult, is not a sign of failure. It is confirmation that you are stepping into something greater. Walking in your divine calling requires courage. It means standing firm in your faith even when others do not understand. It means refusing to shrink back or compromise simply to fit into the expectations of those who are not yet ready to embrace what God is doing in your life. There will be moments of doubt, but remember, the enemy only attacks what is valuable. If you are not destined for greatness, there would be no opposition. As you continue on this path, the resistance you face will begin to fade. In time, even those who doubted you may come to recognize the undeniable work of God in your life. Do not let fear or external voices deter you from the path He has set before you. Move forward with boldness, knowing that you are divinely chosen. The more you embrace your calling, the stronger you will become, and the more evident God's power will be in your life. Stand firm, walk with confidence, and trust that the transformation taking place in you is preparing you for a destiny far greater than you ever imagined. You are standing on the threshold of something extraordinary. The journey you have traveled, the challenges, the trials, the moments of uncertainty, has all been leading to this moment. Your divine destiny awaits. Every step you have taken, every hardship you have endured, has been a part of God's plan to mold you into the person He created you to be. Now, He is calling you forward into a future filled with purpose, abundance, and supernatural transformation. The path ahead may not look exactly as you expected, but trust that it is precisely the path God has designed for you. He is opening doors that once seemed impossible, aligning you with people and opportunities that will propel you toward your calling. You will no longer be bound by fear or hesitation. God is filling you with confidence, strength, and the courage to walk boldly into the life He has prepared for you. As you step forward in faith, expect miracles, expect breakthroughs, expect to see His power working in ways that will astonish you. This is not just another season in your life. This is a divine awakening. The waiting, the refining, the lessons, they have all been necessary to prepare you for what is coming next. Do not shrink back. Do not doubt. Your destiny is calling, and it is far greater than anything you have imagined. This is your moment to rise, to embrace the fullness of who God created you to be. Walk forward with faith, knowing that what lies ahead is nothing short of miraculous. Your divine destiny is here. It is time to step into it. When God transforms you, you are no longer the person you once were. The old version of you, with its doubts, fears, and limitations, has been replaced by something entirely new. You are a new creation in Christ. This is not just a change in mindset or behavior. It is a complete renewal of your heart, spirit, and identity. You are no longer bound by the past, no longer defined by your mistakes or struggles. Instead, you walk in the freedom and victory that comes from being made new by His grace. This transformation is profound. As you surrender to God's plan, you will begin to see yourself through His eyes, strong, worthy, and deeply loved. The burdens that once weighed you down will lose their grip, replaced by an overwhelming sense of peace and purpose. The things that once held power over you, fear, insecurity, doubt, will no longer define your path. Instead, you will walk in confidence, knowing that God has set you apart for something greater. The world may not always recognize the change immediately, but in time, your life will become a living testament to the power of God's renewal. Your thoughts will align with His truth, your actions will reflect His love, and your presence will carry an undeniable light. This is the beauty of being made new, not a temporary change, but a lasting transformation that radiates from within. You are no longer who you once were. You are a new creation in Christ, walking in His strength, His favor, and His divine purpose. Step boldly into this new identity, knowing that God has equipped you for every challenge and every blessing that lies ahead. The old has passed away. The new has come. Chosen one. If this message has resonated with you, leave a comment with 77 and declare, "I am ready to receive God's divine transformation." Your faith is activating miracles. Your new season begins now. Thank you for being part of this journey. If you feel called to support this message, you can click the Super Thanks button to help us continue spreading God's word. We love and appreciate you. See you in the next video. Until then, stay blessed and walk boldly in your divine calling. Something extraordinary is unfolding right now, and you are at the very center of it. This is not a coincidence. This is not an accident. You are meant to be here, reading these words at this precise moment. A sacred event is about to take place, one that has been divinely orchestrated for you. Today, a God-chosen government official is looking for you, not just anyone because you specifically. What do they know about you that the rest of the world doesn't? What have they seen that even you might not fully understand yet? Could it be that they have recognized something hidden within you? A power, a calling, a divine anointing for wealth and influence? Could this be the moment when everything in your life shifts? Imagine for a moment, a powerful government official, handpicked by God, reaching out to meet with you privately. Not for political reasons, not to ask for favors because they have witnessed something undeniable about your destiny. They see a force within you, a supernatural connection to abundance, favor, and prosperity that is about to manifest. But here's the real question. Do you see it too? This might be the moment you have been waiting for your entire life. Could this be the long-awaited turning point? The moment when God reveals your true purpose and leads you straight into the financial breakthrough you've been praying for? If something in your spirit is stirring right now, acknowledge it. Comment 777 below as a declaration that you are stepping into divine alignment. This is about unlocking a reality that very few will ever step into. A kingdom wealth transfer is on the horizon, but it will only be received by those who recognize the signs and seize the moment. The doors to supernatural increase and divine positioning are swinging open. Will you step through them? Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal could be the exact knowledge you need to walk into your breakthrough. What happens next may very well change the course of your entire life. You are stepping into a new season of your life, one that has been divinely orchestrated. It is a calling, a sacred invitation into something far greater than you have ever imagined. While many walk through life only acknowledging what is visible to the eye, you have been given a gift, the ability to perceive the unseen. You recognize what others overlook. You sense the intricate, invisible forces that shape the world around you. This is no accident. It is a deliberate choice made by God, a divine selection that sets you apart for a unique and powerful purpose. Deep down, have you ever felt there was something different about you? Have you ever noticed the way people look at you, as if they see something in you that you yourself have yet to fully recognize? Perhaps there have been moments when you felt destined for something greater, even if you could not quite put it into words. That feeling is not your imagination. It is the truth. God has placed a special vision inside your heart, a vision that sets you apart, a vision that speaks of influence, abundance, and transformation. And now, the world is beginning to take notice. People in positions of power, those who shape economies and lead nations, have recognized something extraordinary within you. They see the qualities that make you stand out. They sense the potential that has been placed inside you, waiting to be unlocked. And now, something unexpected is happening. A government official, chosen by God, is searching for you. This is not an ordinary encounter. It is a divine appointment, a moment designed by the Creator Himself. But why? What is it that they see in you? What knowledge do they possess that you are yet to fully comprehend? Could it be that they recognize a strength, a wisdom, an anointing that even you have not fully embraced? Could it be that they see you as part of a much bigger plan, a plan where wealth and influence are being transferred into the hands of those who have been chosen by God? You are not here by accident. You have been positioned, prepared, and called for such a time as this. Everything you have been through, every trial, every hardship, has been leading you to this moment. And now, the doors are opening. The opportunity to step into your divine destiny is before you. The question is, are you ready to walk through? Something powerful is unfolding within you. A shift so profound that it defies logic. A transformation so extraordinary that it can only be orchestrated by God. You have walked through fire, endured hardships that would have broken most, faced betrayals that cut deep, and encountered obstacles that seemed impossible to overcome. And yet, here you are, still standing, still rising, still pressing forward. The world may have expected you to fall. Your enemies may have assumed you would give up. Even you, at times, may have doubted whether you could withstand the storms that came your way. But through every trial, through every tear, through every dark night when hope seemed like a distant dream, you endured. And that endurance is not by accident. There is something within you, something the world cannot comprehend, a force greater than mere willpower, stronger than sheer determination. It is divine power, the kind that only those chosen by God can recognize and harness. It is the ability to rise when everything around you is telling you to fall. It is the strength to keep going when the weight of the world is pressing down on your shoulders. That power is transformation. You have the extraordinary ability to take everything meant to destroy you and turn it into the very thing that fuels your success. While others see suffering as the end of the road, you see it as the beginning of something greater. While many allow pain to define them, you use it to refine you. What others view as a stumbling block, you transform into a stepping stone. Your struggles have not been in vain. Every challenge, every disappointment, every closed door was preparing you for something greater. Your pain has not been wasted. It has shaped you, molded you, strengthened you in ways you never thought possible. It has built resilience in your spirit, wisdom in your mind, and fire in your soul. Consider this. Gold is purified through fire. Diamonds are formed under pressure. The strongest trees are those that have weathered the fiercest storms. Likewise, the trials you have faced have not been punishments. They have been preparations. And now, the shift is happening. The old is being stripped away, and the new is emerging. You are stepping into a season where everything that once worked against you will begin to work for you. Where the doors that were once shut will start to swing open. Where the very things that caused you pain will now propel you into purpose. What once broke you is now building you. What once wounded you is now awakening you. You are standing on the edge of something magnificent, something life-altering. You are stepping into the destiny that was always meant for you. So take a deep breath. Stand tall. Walk boldly into what is next, knowing that everything you have been through has prepared you for this very moment. This is not just a season of change. This is your transformation. The moment is drawing near. Can you sense it? The doors that once seemed locked are about to open, and when they do, you will look back and realize that everything you have been through, every struggle, every setback, every moment of uncertainty, was shaping you for this very opportunity. Nothing was wasted. The pain, the disappointments, the battles you fought in silence, all of it has been part of a divine preparation. You were never forgotten. You were being refined for something far greater. As one of God's chosen, you have been set apart, called to something beyond the ordinary. You were not meant to simply exist, to go through life merely surviving. You were created to thrive, to walk in divine abundance, and to step into the fullness of your destiny. But the question is not whether you are chosen. The question is, are you ready to claim what has already been prepared for you? This is more than just another season. This is a divine moment in time. A moment where everything shifts, where the pieces finally come together. God, in His infinite wisdom, has placed you exactly where you need to be. He has orchestrated every step, every delay, every detour to bring you to this place, at this precise moment. The doors that no man could open are now being unlocked by His hand. The opportunities that once seemed out of reach are now aligning in your favor. But will you step through? Throughout history, God has called His people into moments just like this. Moments that changed the course of their lives forever. He called Abraham to leave everything behind and follow a promise he could not yet see. He led Joseph from the depths of a prison to the heights of a palace. He positioned Esther, an orphan girl, to become a queen and save an entire nation. He anointed David, a mere shepherd, to rise as king over Israel. And now, He is calling you. Perhaps you have felt it, a stirring in your spirit, a whisper in your heart telling you that you are on the edge of something extraordinary. You may not be able to explain it, but deep within, you know that change is coming. You are standing at the threshold of a divine breakthrough. It may not always make sense. The process may have been painful. There were seasons when you questioned why certain doors remained closed, why the journey felt so long, why the answers didn't come when you expected them to. But even when you could not see it, God was working behind the scenes. Even when you didn't understand, He was preparing the way. This meeting, this divine appointment, is not a coincidence. It is God's perfect timing. It is His orchestration. It is His will. You have walked in faith when everything around you suggested otherwise. You have endured trials that tested your strength. And yet, you have not been defeated. Now He is positioning you for the very thing He has promised. Your faith, your perseverance, and your trust in Him have brought you here. But now you must decide. Will you embrace the destiny that has been waiting for you all along? The opportunities, the blessings, the divine favor, they are already yours. But you must be willing to receive them. This is not the time to shrink back in fear. This is not the time to hesitate. This is your time to rise, to step boldly into the abundance that has been prepared for you, to walk in confidence, knowing that God Himself has paved the way before you. The doors are open. The path is clear. Your time is now. Step forward. Claim your divine inheritance. Walk into the life that God has destined for you. This is your moment. If this message resonates with you, I invite you to show your support and join us in continuing this mission. Your generosity, your engagement, your willingness to open your heart to God's voice, that is more than enough. Like this message. Comment below. Subscribe so you don't miss any future revelations. And most importantly, step into your divine calling. May God bless you richly. May His favor surround you. May you walk boldly in the path He has set before you. You are chosen. You are powerful. You are stepping into divine abundance. The best is yet to come. Chosen ones, today I want to share with you something powerful, something that many of us overlook, yet it holds the key to a profound transformation in your life. Have you ever wondered why your body keeps sending signals? That stubborn back pain, that constant neck tension, that overwhelming fatigue. What if these signals are more than just physical symptoms? Today, I'm not merely talking about physical health. I'm talking about the deep, mysterious connection between your body and your spirit. You see, the Bible tells us that our bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, a sacred dwelling place, carefully designed by God Himself. And just like a finely tuned instrument, your body manifests what your soul and spirit are quietly processing. Think about those moments when your chest tightens before a big decision, or how your shoulders ache from carrying burdens you never speak of. These aren't just coincidences, they're messages. Your spirit is calling for your attention, urging you to pause and listen. In the next few minutes, I'll reveal how each part of your body speaks to you through pain, tension, and discomfort. You'll discover how the pain you've been experiencing can guide you toward deeper healing, highlighting areas of your life that desperately need spiritual restoration. This isn't just about physical healing. It's about tuning into your body's language, a language deeply connected to your soul and your relationship with God. So, chosen one, activate the notification bell, subscribe now, and join me on this transformative journey, because understanding these signals could change your life forever. Your headache. A message from your mind. Let's pause to consider that persistent headache, the one that always seems to strike just when your mind is filled with worry and anxiety. It's not mere coincidence. Your mind, much like a delicate cup, can hold only so many burdens, worries, and thoughts before it inevitably overflows. Each anxious thought, each replayed conversation, every sleepless night of overthinking adds another drop to this already full vessel. And when your mind becomes overloaded, the overflow comes not as tears or words, but as physical pain. The pounding in your head isn't just a headache. It's your spirit's urgent cry for relief. How often have you found yourself awake at night, replaying conversations, stressing over finances, or fearing what tomorrow may bring? The Bible gently reminds us, do not be anxious about anything. Yet our minds often race with anxiety over everything, from bills and family to career and relationships. You feel overwhelmed because you're attempting to control the uncontrollable, carrying burdens that only God was meant to shoulder. Medication can mask the symptoms temporarily, much like wiping up water without turning off the faucet. But unless the root issue is addressed, the pain will return. Jesus lovingly invites, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." He spoke not only of physical exhaustion, but also of mental overload, the burdens that weigh down your thoughts and rob you of peace. Your mind, like a delicate glass, can hold only so much worry before overflowing. It's time to stop filling it beyond capacity. Today, choose to release your worries. When troubling thoughts come, acknowledge them, but then entrust them to God. Rather than allowing anxieties to settle permanently in your mind, Pass them over to the one who is able to bear what you cannot. Practice this moment by moment. Whenever worries invade, pause, breathe deeply, and pray simply, "Lord, this is beyond me. I give it to you." Understand that a headache is not your natural state. It is a signal, a red flag telling you it's time to unload. Medication may mask the symptom temporarily, but true healing begins when you surrender the heavy burdens of worry to God's capable hands. Remember, your mind was designed to dream, plan, and thrive, not to endlessly suffer. Let go of the illusion of control and embrace the freedom found in trusting God. Chosen one, today choose peace. Your mind and body will thank you. Your neck. The hidden storage of hurt. Have you wondered why your neck often feels stiff, tense, or painful, almost as if you're carrying a burden that's too heavy to bear? This isn't merely physical discomfort. It's your body's way of speaking to you, calling your attention to something deeper within. Your neck, like a bridge connecting your head to your heart, quietly holds everything you refuse to face openly. Each resentment, each swallowed hurt, each word you held back. These hidden feelings do not vanish. Instead, they silently accumulate right there in your neck, creating tension and pain that grows with time. Reflect for a moment. How many times have you said, "I'll just swallow it," when someone hurt you deeply? Did you notice that instant tightening at the base of your neck? When you're forced to accept something you disagree with, where do you first feel the discomfort? Again, it tightens your neck. And those moments when tears threaten to spill, but you push them down. Determined to appear strong, your neck silently bears the emotional burden. This physical manifestation is your spirit's way of telling you, enough. It's time to release what you've been suppressing. Yet many of us continue to mask the pain, spending fortunes on massages, medications, and treatments. These approaches might temporarily relieve discomfort, but the core issue remains unresolved. Real healing begins within. It starts with forgiveness. Forgiveness is powerful medicine because it liberates you, freeing you from emotional weights you've unknowingly carried far too long. Jesus knew the profound impact of forgiveness, urging us not as an option, but as a necessity. Forgiveness is your liberation, an essential step towards spiritual and physical healing. Imagine this exercise. As you wake each morning, gently rotate your neck and speak these words softly but firmly. "Lord, today I choose to forgive. Today I let go of what I have been holding on to." This practice might seem simple, but it holds immense spiritual power. Forgiveness doesn't merely free the other person, it frees you first. Every act of forgiveness is an act of liberation, a release from invisible chains that weigh heavily on your neck. Moreover, gratitude amplifies this healing. Gratitude shifts your attention from the pain to blessings, from grievances to grace. As you lay your head to rest tonight, thank God genuinely for at least 3 things, no matter how small. Gratitude releases spiritual tension, easing the burden stored in your neck, and brings a lasting peace that medication alone could never offer. Shoulders. You're not meant to carry the world. You often felt as though your shoulders are weighed down, aching under the immense pressure of life's endless responsibilities. It's no mere illusion. Your shoulders are telling a deeper truth. They carry not just physical burdens, but the weight of every responsibility, worry, and expectation you place upon yourself. Bills piling up, family issues demanding your attention, job pressures, household tasks, and the countless expectations you silently agree to bear. All these weigh heavily upon you, gradually crushing your peace and comfort. This relentless pressure isn't imaginary. Your shoulders are literally protesting, reminding you that some weights were never meant to be yours. Remember Jesus' comforting words, "My yoke is easy, and my burden is light." God never intended you to bear these heavy loads alone. Yet many of us mistakenly equate strength with independence, believing that asking for help is weakness, that managing everything alone somehow proves our worth. But God never designed your shoulders to carry the entire weight of life's challenges. Those constant aches, the persistent tension you feel, they're gentle warnings from your body, indicating that something must change. Your shoulders are honest. They speak what your heart often tries to hide. Enough. I can't carry this alone. Picture this clearly. Imagine you're wearing an enormous heavy backpack filled with your burdens, stresses, and responsibilities. Now visualize slowly removing that heavy load, placing it down gently. Feel how your shoulders lighten instantly. This is precisely what your body desires, freedom from unnecessary weight. The words of Jesus echo powerfully here. My yoke is easy, and my burden is light. He invites you to surrender what you cannot control, to entrust to Him what overwhelms you. Learn to delegate, to ask for support from those around you, and most importantly, to trust God with the responsibilities only He can handle. Real strength isn't about enduring endless pressure. It's found in acknowledging your limits, seeking support, and embracing the peace God promises. Chosen one, today is the day to remove that invisible heavy backpack filled with burdens you've wrongly claimed as yours. Lay it down gently at the feet of Jesus. Stand upright once again, shoulders free, spirit lifted, ready to embrace the life God truly intended for you. Your chest, the center of your emotions. Chosen one, your chest is more than just a physical part of your body. It's the sacred center where all your emotions reside. Have you ever noticed how strongly you feel emotions right there, in your chest? When joy fills you, your heart leaps. When sadness overtakes you, it's as if a heavy stone presses down, making it hard to breathe. Anxiety grips your chest with a tightness that refuses to let go, and fear races through your heart, quickening your pulse. It's no coincidence. Your chest is your emotional core, faithfully holding every unexpressed feeling, every swallowed tear, and every hidden hurt. From childhood, many of us learned that expressing emotion meant showing weakness, that crying was shameful and sadness should be concealed. Yet Jesus Himself, the perfect example of humanity, freely expressed emotions. He laughed, He wept, He grieved openly. So why do we try so hard to conceal what God intended us to feel? Your emotions were never meant to be hidden away, silently building pressure within you. They were created to flow naturally, to be shared and released, bringing healing and clarity. Maybe you've experienced those unexplained chest pains, undergoing countless tests only to hear doctors say, "Everything looks fine." That's because the root is deeper, spiritual and emotional, not merely physical. The chest pain is a message, a reminder from your body that it's time to let go, to speak what you've been holding back, and to allow yourself to truly feel again. To heal your chest, start by acknowledging your emotions without judgment. Allow yourself to cry if tears come. Allow laughter to escape when joy arises. Above all, don't fear vulnerability. Even Jesus openly expressed grief and joy alike. Worship is another powerful remedy, your voice releasing hidden pain and filling your heart with peace beyond understanding. Sing out your hurts, praise through your fears. Each expression of gratitude lifts emotional weight, replacing heaviness with freedom. Chosen one, God didn't create your heart as a vault for pain. He made it a temple of feeling, healing, and life. Let your emotions flow, and watch how your chest opens, bringing renewal to both body and spirit. Your spine, carrying invisible burdens. Do you felt that persistent ache in your back? That relentless heaviness running along your spine, whispering that you're carrying far more than you should? Your spine isn't merely a structure supporting your physical body. It's silently carrying the invisible burdens of your soul. Worries, fears, insecurities, expectations all stacked heavily upon each vertebra. The upper part of your spine, close to your shoulders, bears the weight of expectations placed upon you by family, friends, and society. It tightens painfully when you try too hard to be someone others want you to be, losing sight of who God truly created you to become. Then comes the middle of your spine, the place where you store self-imposed pressures, your inner critic constantly whispering you're not doing enough, pushing you relentlessly toward perfection, performance, and approval. When this area aches, it's your body reminding you to ease up on yourself, to offer compassion instead of criticism. Finally, the lower part of your spine, this area holds fears about your future, financial insecurities, relationship worries, and uncertainty about life's direction. When anxiety about tomorrow overwhelms you, your lower back tightens in protest, signaling that you're carrying burdens you were never meant to bear. Yet, there is good news. God did not create your spine to bend beneath these invisible burdens. You were designed to stand tall in strength and dignity, not to collapse under stress and pressure. Jesus lovingly reminds us, "My yoke is easy, and my burden is light," calling you to lay down the weights that belong to Him alone. You don't need to carry worries about problems you didn't create, guilt for decisions that aren't yours, or responsibilities you cannot possibly fulfill on your own. Begin today by identifying these heavy loads, expectations, self-criticism, fears, and gently release them through prayer. Stand up, stretch your spine upward, and visualize each invisible burden falling away. Speak this truth aloud. Lord, today I surrender to you everything I was not meant to carry. Allow your spine to return to its natural posture, upright, strong, and free, exactly as God designed it, unburdened and ready to support you as you step confidently into the purpose He has lovingly prepared. Your legs and feet. Fear of moving forward. Chosen one, have you noticed how often your legs feel heavy, your feet sore and weary, as if chained by invisible burdens? Your legs and feet are not just physical parts of your body. They are powerful symbols of your journey, responsible for every step toward your destiny. But when fear grips your heart, when uncertainty clouds your vision, your legs and feet are often the first to respond. Suddenly, even simple steps become challenging, and moving forward feels impossible. This isn't mere physical exhaustion, it's your spirit crying out, signaling the fears, doubts, and insecurities you've unknowingly allowed to paralyze your progress. Consider this carefully. Each step you take is an act of courage, a testimony of faith in the path God has laid before you. But when fear overtakes your heart, your body protests, urging you to confront what's holding you back. Your legs, which God designed to propel you toward purpose, become weighed down by uncertainty and anxiety about the future. Your feet ache because deep down, your heart resists taking the next step, perhaps afraid of making the wrong choice or facing unknown outcomes. Think of Abraham, who bravely stepped into the unknown, trusting God's promise without a clear destination. Or Peter, who stepped onto stormy waters despite his fear, focusing solely on the voice calling him forward. Their faith overcame fear, teaching us a powerful lesson. Movement, even when uncertain, breaks the chains of doubt. Today, it's time to release yourself from emotional and spiritual paralysis. Start by honestly identifying the fears holding you back. What decision have you avoided? What change are you resisting? What future uncertainties keep your feet firmly planted, unable to move freely? Acknowledge these fears openly, then entrust them to God through prayer. Now, chosen one, I invite you to perform a simple yet powerful exercise. Remove your shoes, feel the solid earth beneath your feet, and take slow, deliberate steps forward. With each step, speak this truth. I release my fears. Each step I take brings me closer to my purpose. Remember, God created your legs and feet to carry you forward, not to trap you in fear. Today, choose courage over uncertainty, action over paralysis, and trust that with God guiding each step, your journey will always lead to peace, purpose, and freedom. Your body is an incredible temple of the Holy Spirit, communicating in a language rich with meaning. Listen carefully. Those signals pain, tension, fatigue. They are not enemies but messengers. By understanding the divine connection between your body, mind, and spirit, you can access true healing. Give to God what is beyond your strength. Forgive freely, express openly, and walk confidently toward your destiny. Remember, you were never meant to carry it all alone. Let this be the day you start listening, responding, and walking in the freedom Christ has already won for you. May your body become your friend again, a sacred temple of peace, strength, and spiritual growth. If this message resonated with you, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue to spread this divine wisdom and uplift more souls who, like you, have been called for a special purpose. Remember, you are not alone. Together, we walk in the freedom Christ has already won for us. Until next time, remain blessed, chosen one. The world shifts in ways that most never notice. Beneath the surface of everyday life, beyond the headlines and distractions, forces move unseen, shaping reality in ways you were never meant to comprehend. You were never supposed to see behind the curtain, and yet, somehow, you did. Somehow, your words, your actions, intentional or not, set something in motion that even those in the highest circles could no longer ignore. And now, a message arrives from the shadows. A secret service agent, someone trained to observe but never be seen, to protect but never be known, steps forward, not for recognition, not for confession, but for gratitude. Not to a president, not to a dignitary, but to you, the one they now call the chosen one. You may not know what you did. You may not even believe you played a role. But the agent knows the truth, and for the first time, they are breaking their silence to tell you exactly why. Chapter 1. The moment doubt began. For years, doubt had no place in their world. Doubt was a weakness, a liability that could mean the difference between life and death. As an agent, they had been trained to trust the system, to follow orders without hesitation, to believe that every mission had a purpose, every classified file was sealed for a reason, and every enemy had been identified through careful, calculated intelligence. There was no room for questioning. There was only duty, and for a long time that was enough. Then they came across you. At first, they dismissed you entirely. Just another voice in the endless noise, another so-called truth seeker lost in the labyrinth of online speculation. The internet was filled with people who thought they had cracked the code, self-proclaimed experts, conspiracy theorists, armchair analysts who wove intricate stories from scattered bits of information, convinced they had uncovered hidden realities. The agent had seen them all before. In their world, people like you were either harmless or dangerous, but either way, never worth the attention. But then something happened. You said something. The kind of information that was locked behind the highest levels of clearance, known only to those who lived in the world of classified briefings and sealed records. The kind of information that made their blood run cold. For the first time in their career, the agent hesitated. They tried to rationalize it. Coincidence, perhaps. A lucky guess. A fabrication stitched together from unrelated pieces of information. That had to be it. That was the only logical explanation. But logic wasn't enough to shake the feeling in their gut. They had been trained to detect deception, to read micro-expressions, to sense when something didn't add up. And this was different. This wasn't deception. They verified. They dug into the records, cross-referenced classified reports, searched for inconsistencies. They ran your words against the files they had sworn to protect, the files that should have remained hidden. And that was when everything changed. Because the pattern was there, buried, disguised, but undeniable, just as you had said. At that moment, something cracked inside them. A fracture in the foundation of everything they had believed. It was subtle at the beginning, almost imperceptible. But it was there, a splinter of doubt, a whisper in the back of their mind that refused to be silenced. They had spent their life believing in the system. But now, for the first time, they weren't sure if the system had ever truly believed in them. Chapter 2. The cracks in the foundation. The deeper they looked, the worse it became. They had hoped to disprove it, to find the flaw in your words, to reaffirm the truth they had built their entire life around. But instead, every new piece of information only confirmed what they were beginning to fear. The world was not what they had been told it was. The reports they had trusted, the intelligence briefings they had followed, the missions they had carried out with unwavering conviction, all of it was tainted. The inconsistencies were no longer minor. They weren't simple errors or misinterpretations. They were deliberate, manipulated, designed to deceive. The agent retraced the steps of their past assignments, revisited old cases with new eyes. They combed through files they once read without question, but this time, they saw what had been hidden in plain sight. Connections between supposedly unrelated events, buried truths disguised as irrelevant details, names that shouldn't have appeared together, locations that overlapped too perfectly, patterns that defied coincidence. What was once a neatly ordered reality was now unraveling before them, and they could no longer pretend it was just a mistake. It was a web, a carefully constructed illusion designed to keep even those on the inside blind to the full picture. And you, an outsider, someone with no badge, no clearance, no official standing, had somehow seen it before they did. That realization shook them to their core. How could someone with no access to classified intelligence know what was never meant to be known? How could a voice lost in the vast sea of speculation have landed so dangerously close to the truth? The agent had worked with some of the most sophisticated minds in intelligence, had access to the most advanced surveillance and security measures, yet you had glimpsed something that had eluded them all. It defied explanation, and that was the most terrifying part. For the first time in their life, the agent questioned whether they had ever truly been on the right side. They had always believed in the system not just as an institution, but as something greater, a force of order, a protector of truth. But now, as they stood at the edge of revelation, they realized something horrifying. They had never been protecting the truth. They had been protecting the lie, and that changed everything. They weren't just facing an internal crisis. They weren't just questioning their career. This was bigger. This was a fracture in the very foundation of the world they had dedicated their life to serving. If the system was built on deception, then what did that make them? A soldier? A pawn? A puppet? They had spent years enforcing the rules, believing they were preserving order. But now they had to ask themselves, order for whom? Because if everything they had believed was a lie, then maybe you weren't just another voice in the void. Maybe you were something else entirely. Chapter 3. The Underground Network. There are places in this world that don't exist on any map, places hidden beneath our feet, woven into the very infrastructure of society, yet unseen by those who walk above. The agent had spent years moving through classified corridors, accessing restricted zones, stepping through doors the public would never even know existed. But even they weren't prepared for what lay beneath. It started with a case. Missing persons. Not the kind that made headlines. Not the kind that led to frantic news reports or desperate public searches. These were different. No ransom notes. No bodies. No clues. Just people vanishing. Their existence erased so thoroughly that it was as if they had never lived at all. The records didn't add up. Families that should have spoken out remained silent. Official reports were vague, incomplete, deliberately redacted. Someone had gone to great lengths to make sure no one asked the wrong questions, but the agent asked, and the trail led them underground. Beneath abandoned buildings, beneath government facilities, beneath even the ordinary city streets, they found something impossible to ignore. A vast, concealed network of tunnels. Some were old, forgotten subway expansions, wartime bunkers, emergency escape routes for those who never wanted to be found. But some were new. Too new. Built with precision, reinforced, structured with an intent that was undeniable. These weren't just passageways. They were corridors of power, hidden arteries running beneath civilization itself. They weren't empty. The agent wasn't the only one using these tunnels. A group had claimed them. Organized, well-funded, deeply connected. This wasn't a scattered collection of criminals or rogue operators. This was something older, a system, a hidden order operating beyond the reach of law, beyond the sight of even the most classified intelligence agencies. The agent thought it was just another shadow government, another faction within the elite pulling strings from behind the scenes. But the deeper they went, the more they realized this was something much darker. It wasn't just about power or influence. It was a cult. Not the kind that gathered in remote compounds with fanatics preaching doomsday prophecies. This was something different, something embedded. Judges, bankers, military officials, corporate executives, figures who moved in plain sight, who shaped policies and dictated the course of nations, yet behind closed doors, they were something else entirely. They weren't just protecting the system, they were feeding it. The more the agent uncovered, the more disturbing it became. Records, shipping manifests, financial transactions, encrypted communications. People weren't just disappearing. They were being taken. And when their network was threatened, they had a plan. Fires, collapses, accidents, the kind that erased evidence and eliminated anyone who got too close. But this time, something went wrong. Someone disrupted their escape. And now, for the first time, the cult was trapped in its own web. The agent knew this wasn't a coincidence. The timing was too perfect. The interference is too precise. Someone had sealed their final escape route before they could use it. Someone they had never accounted for. And now, in their desperation, the cult was looking for answers. They were looking for you. Chapter 4. The War in the Shadows. They weren't supposed to fear you. You weren't in their calculations. You weren't on their lists of threats, their watch lists, their contingency plans. People like you weren't meant to see behind the curtain. You weren't part of their world, their carefully controlled network of secrecy, their ranks of operatives and insiders. You had no official clearance, no classified access, no authority in the hidden corridors of power. By every definition, you were an outsider. And yet, you knew things. They dismissed you, just as they had dismissed so many before. They had spent years mastering the art of deception, controlling the flow of information, twisting reality to fit their design. They knew how to silence inconvenient voices. When someone got too close to the truth, they drowned them in noise ridicule, censorship, carefully crafted disinformation. Fact-checkers appeared overnight to debunk your claims. Articles flooded the internet, dismissing your words as wild speculation. Algorithms buried your content, ensuring that only a handful of people would ever see it. But you didn't stop, and that's when they realized you were different. Your words didn't just spread, they stuck. People weren't just listening, they were questioning, they were digging deeper, finding their own proof, connecting the same patterns you had uncovered. The things you revealed weren't just theories. They were pieces of something much larger. And worst of all, you couldn't be bought. You couldn't be scared into silence. You couldn't be erased. So they escalated, financial troubles appearing out of nowhere. Banks freezing accounts without explanation, a sudden IRS audit, a job offer mysteriously revoked, friends and family distancing themselves, some even turning against you. Then the shadows came closer. Strangers lingering a little too long. Cars parked outside your home, engines running, tinted windows never rolling down. Odd glitches in your phone calls dropping, messages failing to send, unfamiliar numbers appearing repeatedly. The warnings became direct, anonymous messages, a voice on the other end of a call whispering, "Stop digging." Emails with no sender, no subject, just a single phrase, "Walk away." When you still didn't stop, they moved to the final stage. A near miss with an out-of-control car that shouldn't have been there. A gas leak in your home that no one could explain. An illness that struck suddenly, aggressively, something that felt engineered rather than natural. You weren't supposed to survive. But you did. Every attempt to remove you, to silence you, to make you disappear. It all fell apart. Their plans unraveled before they could be completed. And that terrified them, because it meant they weren't in control. The agent saw what was happening and understood. This wasn't just intelligence. This wasn't just politics. This wasn't just power. This was something bigger. Something protecting you. Not luck. Not coincidence. Something greater. And that's when the agent knew this wasn't just a war of secrets. This was a war of light and darkness. You were at the center of it. Chapter 5. Judgment. In many years, they believed they were untouchable, moving unseen, manipulating the world from the shadows, shaping reality as they saw fit. They had built an empire on deception, on controlling narratives, on ensuring that those who stood against them either fell into silence or were erased entirely. They dictated outcomes. They erased threats. They wrote the rules. But now, something is happening that they never anticipated. Their world is collapsing. The agent has seen it firsthand, the cracks forming at every level. Leaders once thought to be invincible are running. Some have vanished without a trace, retreating into the very shadows they once commanded. Others have been cast aside by their own, discarded as liabilities, their protections stripped away. The ones who remain are beginning to unravel, and not just in ways the world can see. They are suffering. Unnatural deaths, sudden, aggressive illnesses with no clear cause. Public breakdowns as their carefully maintained composure crumbles in front of cameras, in boardrooms, in courtrooms. Some whisper of strange occurrences, visions, voices, things they cannot explain. The same darkness they once wielded to control others has turned against them, consuming them from within. The hunter has become the hunted, and no one knows why. They spent decades mocking the idea of divine justice, laughing at those who believed in higher powers, in forces beyond what could be controlled or manipulated. To them, faith was a weakness, something to exploit, a tool to use against those who still believed in light, in truth, in righteousness. They convinced themselves that their darkness was stronger, that they could cheat fate, that they could bend the laws of existence to their will. But reality doesn't work that way, because the agent has seen things they cannot explain. They have watched as every attempt to stop you failed, every plan unraveled before it could be carried out, every betrayal exposed before it could take root, every moment when you should have been erased. And yet, you're still here. And now, the ones who orchestrated this hidden world are afraid. Because for the first time, they are no longer in control. The whispers that once served them now haunt them. The shadows they once commanded now consume them. The same forces they believed would protect them are abandoning them. This is judgment. Not from a court, not from a government. Something greater. And the agent, once a skeptic, now understands the truth. This was never just a battle of information. It was never just about intelligence, or power, or secrecy. This was spiritual. They don't know what you are: a messenger, a disruptor, a force beyond their comprehension. But they do know this. The cult fears you. Not because you fight them with weapons, not because you have access to their secrets, but because something is protecting you, and nothing, not their power, their influence, their hidden networks can stand against it. Their time is up, and they know it. They tried to silence you. They buried your words, drowned your voice in a flood of misinformation, and labeled you everything they could to make the world turn away. When that failed, they resorted to stronger tactics: manipulation, intimidation, isolation. They did everything in their power to make you doubt yourself, to make you question whether speaking out was worth the risk. But you didn't stop, and that terrifies them. Because despite all their influence, despite all their carefully crafted illusions, they couldn't erase you. They couldn't control the one thing they fear most: the truth. Now, their world is unraveling. The deception they spent decades perfecting is coming apart at the seams. People are waking up. The whispers in the dark are growing louder. You started something they can no longer contain, and that is why you must keep speaking. Your words matter more than you realize. Every voice that refuses to be silenced chips away at the foundation of their control. Every person who listens, who questions, who dares to look beyond the illusion, weakens their grip just a little more. The more of us who stand together, the faster their empire of lies crumbles. The agent sees this now. They understand something they never did before. You were never alone. You were never just one voice in the void. You are part of something greater. And for that, they want to say something they never thought they would. Thank you. For standing when others fell. For refusing to be silenced. For proving that the truth cannot be erased. But this fight is far from over. If you feel this message in your soul, if you know the weight of this truth, don't let it end here. Share it. Spread it. Speak it. Let them know that you are still here. Still watching. Still breaking the chains they thought would hold you forever. And if you are ready to go deeper, if you want to uncover more of what they never wanted you to see, subscribe to this channel. Join this movement. Because the more of us who rise, the louder our voices become. They spent their lives believing they were untouchable. It's time to show them that they were wrong.